It's time for some Shibuya. Who's ready for the Shibuyas? This. How are y'all doing today? It would help if there we go. Cool. We got to get back into this game, to be honest. Also, you need to get that way, so that way you're not shining me in the face. Who can move forward? Can anyone? No, we're at stops for everybody, I think. Hey, Queen Cheese, how's it going? There's a lot that we gotta do. First off, I need to make sure that we take off the catsuit. That's something I need to remember to do. Time to skin the cat. Da, 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 da. Cool. Should take us to a keep out still. Cool. Alright, so we have quite a bit we have to do. So far, we haven't really reached an ending at this point. Tama's Burning Hammer went through and everything is destroyed. Burning Hammer is a flop, but Tama has enough money to buy the necklace now. Achi's still with Hitomi. Kano's still with the agent dude. Hey, what up, Sarky? What up, Happy Squid? Minorikawa did make it to Burning Hammer. And Osawa is being bugged, essentially. So let's do the bug tracker. Let's see what's going on, because I thought we got to the end with this, but we'll see. There's a lot of beeping going on. What up, Whammy? What up, Cassie? Mr. Osawa, it's Kajiwara. Ah, perfect timing. Osawa hurried to let the detective into the study. The bug tracker's picking up signals. Oh? Yes, from all over the room. What should I do? Mr. Osawa, please calm down. As if that were even possible right now. It feels like this must be 10, no maybe 100 listening devices in here. Kajiwara didn't miss a beat. Let me be honest with you. That bug tracker is... All of a sudden, a different noise cut in over the bug tracker. Kajiwara here. Kano? Kajiwara's customary nonchalant expression vanished into a sudden seriousness. Sorry, hold on, he continued. I can't really hear you. He headed out of the room, the phone clutched to his ear. Osawa was left to wonder what the detective had been about to tell him. The bug tracker was what? What the heck was going on? The sound wasn't stopping. Deciding that he better do something, Osawa took the bug tracker and checked behind his bookcase. It didn't seem like the signal was coming from back there. He proceeded to pull each and every one of the books off of all the shelf. Nothing. He checked the area around his computer. He scanned the monitor, the case, the power outlet, but he found nothing that could be a listening device anywhere. He found a small screwdriver and dismantled the mouse. The brown circuit board was lined with chips, but nothing appeared out of the ordinary, and still the mechanical sound continued, mocking him. Just try to find it. Go ahead, look everywhere. Beep 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 beep. Uh-oh. He was being ridiculed. The sound just wouldn't stop, and still the time ticked past. Had it been 5 minutes? 10? Maybe more? He began to lose hope that he could find listening devices and even stop caring. Instead, he was overcome with the feeling that this room, which for years had been a sanctuary, had ceased to be his own. What up, Justin? It was as if something other had intruded and laid claim to his personal space. In his fevered mind, he began to hear the tracker's sound as a high-pitched laugh. An accursed, relentless noise, cruel and taunting. The mockery of the devil himself. Osawa hurled the bug tracker against the wall. Then he picked it up, only to smash it back onto the floor. Then he stomped on it ferociously. There was a satisfying snap, accompanied by the sensation of the thing being crushed underfoot. Also, Wizboo is working again. Alright, the bug tracker is done. The noise stopped. Or, well, it ought to have. And yet, for some reason, the horrid noise kept sounding in Osawa's ears. This is pretty crazy. This ear is hurting my head. This sound is hurting my head. No worries, Sparky. What up, Sushi? How's it going? It wasn't coming from the bug tracker after all. It was inside his own head. Somewhere. Inescapable. Echoing within his skull. No, the noise didn't stop. It only grew louder. Why? 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 Osawa screamed. Why? Why was he being tormented like this? He couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't even think straight anymore. He felt his mind beginning to dissolve. Bad ending. Wow. We started off with a bad ending. Nice. Brain freeze. The incessant beeping from the bug tracker wound up driving Osawa out of his mind. What Kajiwara was about to say just before he got to that phone call was pretty crucial for Osawa to hear. Unfortunately, the call distracted him and he left the room before he could finish his thought. Things could have gone differently if only someone hadn't called Detective Kajiwara right then. Yeah, we know who called him. Kano did. How are you doing today, Sushi? Also, sorry for jumping in, I forgot to explain things going on. So this is, once again, 428 Shibuya Scramble. Last time we left off, just covering the 1300 block, Osawa found out that his head CEO of his company blackmailed him and started doing human experimentation on a deadly virus that causes people to bleed out of every orifice of their body in 12 hours. Osawa's not too happy. Tama, who is our good old cat lady, got into a fight to try to save Burning Hammer, only for Burning Hammer to kind of be a bust and almost kill Yanagishita here. And now Tama can get out of the cat suit and try to get the necklace that she really wants. Achi's still with the Tomi and running away from kidnappers. Kano is with an American guy and apparently called Kajiwara for some reason, I don't know why. And then Minorikawa here, our good old journalist, is about to go to the Burning Hammer Expo, which should be good. Let's go to Kano's though, so that way we can save Osawa from this incessant beeping. The kidnapper's goals. What I will say though is if you guys want to get caught up to speed, I recommend watching the other parts because there is a lot of story in this game. This is all the story we've gotten through so far. We've gotten through the 10-hour, 11-hour, 12-hour, and almost 13-hour. We're going to be finishing up the 13-hour one today. What up, Richard? How's it going? Yet again, Stanley was thumping the steering wheel in frustration. Yeah, no, you're good. So right now, we're essentially trying to chase a guy who is carrying a ransom of 50 million yen with an American. That's pretty much what we're doing in this timeline right now. Traffic hadn't let up one bit. It was starting to look like they might never make it to the foreign syndicate's hangout. Kano caught sight of a girl in a hoodie, weaving her way between the stopped cars on foot. He rolled down the window and called out to her. "Excuse me, miss. Did something happen?" "Huh? What do you mean?" "With the road, I mean. What's with all the traffic?" "Oh, right. Apparently there was some big accident over by the train station. That's probably what's causing it." "Really?" "Yeah, I don't think you guys are going to be going anywhere for quite a while." She smiled and went on her way. That is Miku, who got beat up by Tama. This girl is a professional cosplay boxer. Tama's a girl in a cat outfit. Don't question that too much. Stanley gave the steering wheel another punch. "Well, I guess they did say this wasn't just some typical ransom case," he muttered. Kano saw an opportunity. "If they're not after the money, then what are they after?" Stanley kept his eyes forward, acting as if he hadn't heard. "Look," Kano said, "I can't help you if you keep me out of the loop." After a few moments of thought, Stanley replied with a single monosyllable. "Drugs." Always seems to be drugs. Why do all crime syndicates just love drugs? I hear they're addicting, but like, I feel like that's not a good thing to go after. Then again, I guess you make good money off of it, huh? Who knows at this point? "What?" "Maria's father, Kenji Osawa. I assume you are aware his works for Okoshi Pharmaceutical." "I am." "Nothing's been made public yet, but Osawa recently oversaw the development of a new drug. And it's not all uncommon for a new drug to be in development for 15 years or more, with expenses totaling 20 to 30 billion yen, roughly 200 to 300 million US dollars, before it is approved. Worldwide demand and sensational profits can be expected if the groundbreaking medicine is developed. Nonetheless, pharmaceutical companies are often under major pressure due to the tremendous cost of labor and equipment." So something cool, by the way. I just want to go over this too. These 5 characters that we're playing as, Kano, Minorikawa, Osawa, Tama, and Achi, they have not interacted with each other at all. And actually, up until the 1300 block, anytime 2 of them interacted, there was a game over. Now, that's hey, Caitlin, how's it going? What'd you miss? Osawa lost his mind because of beeping. But now where's Kano? So something cool with this game is that none of these characters have ever interacted, and if you interacted with each other, you would lose. But now we're getting to the point where each character is starting to learn about each other. Kano was learning about Osawa, whose daughter is the one who got kidnapped. Minorikawa met Tama by just looking at her because he went to the Burning Hammer Expo. Osawa still doesn't know about anybody, but Tama knows about Minorikawa because she kept seeing Minorikawa at the Burning Hammer Expo, and Achi only knows of Kano's existence because he knew that Hitomi was there with her. So they're slowly starting to like come together and learn about each other, which is interesting, because before, if like Achi and Kano interacted, it would end in a bad ending. Usually Kano got married and Achi got killed. So that's pretty interesting there. And someone is trying to get their hands on it. Kano's mind latched onto this new information, trying to assemble the pieces of an evolving puzzle. Someone? Who? An international criminal mastermind. This foreign syndicate is merely a tool in someone else's game. Kano regarded Stanley's face carefully. He looked more cold and serious than ever. So wait, does that mean that the reason we're letting the syndicate walk around unfettered is on my orders? Yes. I see. So the only thing you're really concerned with is catching this international mastermind? Precisely. Kano felt like he was starting to get a picture of what sort of person Stanley was. So you really don't care what happens to the girl who's been abducted, do you? Not particularly, no. Well, that's fucked up. You have a teenage girl that is in danger. Her father is worried sick over her, and all he's worried about is capturing the mastermind. He doesn't care if people die. That's beyond fucked. Oh my goodness. Do you have a problem with that? Kano clenched his fist, his hand was shaking with anger. Ah, the Dick Diary. Dick Dictum number 8. When you really want to punch something, you really probably shouldn't. Good point. Very good point. Kano recited the words inwardly like some sort of desperate mantra. If he didn't manage to calm himself down, he was liable to slam his fist right into Stanley's face. But last we know, Stanley would probably kill him. Outside the car, the traffic remained at a standstill. Kano chafed against a feeling of utter futility. One after another, his uncertainties came to nag at him. Was Maria still safe? What had happened to Hitomi and Teteno, a bodyguard? And now, on top of all of this, it struck Kano as rather careless to send Sasayama away with Karawan without any backup, now that Jack had alerted him to the presence of a dangerous international mastermind still on the loose. Fighting against his fit of pique, Kano got out his cell phone, and a fit of pique is to do something impulsively or out of irritation, resentment, or the like, similar to doing something in a huff. I've done that before. You ever get something where you're just like, I think a lot of people can relate, where like you just feel irritated and the only thing you can do is like grab your phone, or you grab like a tablet, or you grab like some sort of like maybe gaming system, at least in my case, and you just turn it on and turn it off, like because you don't really want to play the game, but like you're just irritated, just like no. But then like it helps calm you down. Like I usually find myself, I'll just like turn on my phone, so I'll just go. And I'll just keep checking the time, and the time won't move for like the longest time, of course, but that's interesting. Also, this game you learn things, so now you can say to your teachers that you know what a fit of pique is. He dialed up Sasayama. He wanted to make sure his partner had gotten Alcarawan back to the precinct safely. He dialed up Detective Kajiwara, who was stationed at Osawa residence. He hoped a little more information about the family's 2 daughters might shed some light on the situation. So here's the thing, if we dial up Detective Kajiwara, Osawa gets the bad ending, so we want to dial up Sasayama to make sure his partner had gotten Alcarawan back to the precinct safely. So let's do that. He dialed up Sasayama. He wanted to make sure his partner had gotten Alcarawan back to the precinct safely. Sasayama picked up almost right away. Kano, what's up? How are things on your end? Any problems getting Alcarawan back? Nah, I've got Teteno taking care of him. Wait, what? Where did Teteno come from? Kano could hardly believe his ears. You were in touch with Teteno, he asked? He could hear the shock in his own voice. Yeah, just bumped into him over by the precinct a little while ago. Then he is safe. Kano felt a surge of relief. What about Hitomi then? Stanley glanced over at him curious. Teteno says he lost track of her somehow. And then he got called back to the precinct, apparently. Teteno had lost track of her? That's not like him, Kano thought. Since he was heading back there anyway, I handed our guy over to him, Sasayama said. So by the way, Tateno is the assassin that I believe is chasing Achi and Hitomi. Also, what up, Baba? How's it going? I see. Kano was glad to hear that Tateno was alright, but his relief was tempered by a surge of anger at the thought of what had happened to Hitomi. Now I'm back detailing the attaché case, Sasayama continued. Today is my wife's birthday, you know. Yeah, stopping crime? Wife's birthday. Jesus, this guy. My plan is to wrap this up ASAP so we can celebrate tonight. I've already got a present and everything. I envy you, man. Closing his eyes, Kano took a moment to picture Rumi, but Shizo's face popped into his mind's eye right alongside her. Well, just hang in there, buddy. Even if your girlfriend is just a picture of Masami Nagahama. Midoriyama Academy graduate and national celebrity. Her popularity shows no signs of slowing down after she played the female lead in such films as The Beast that Hoarded Gold at the Heart of the World and The Swidden Fortress. There's another nationally famous actress with the same name, but it is a nationally known fact that the two are completely separate people. Interesting. Still snickering, Sasayama hung up. Kano bit his lip and slipped his phone back into his pocket. So by the way, with us taking that phone call, for those who are new to this game, for that, let me show this. Osawa's timeline clears up, but once again we are stuck at keep out because we tried to cook food for the first time and it went well. It went really well, but now we don't know what's at the end there. Also, they've been in this car for a long time. Oh my goodness. At long last, traffic began to move again. Almost as soon as it did, however, Stanley had to slam on the brakes. The abrupt stop made Kano smack his head against the windshield. Hey, what gives? Look, Stanley said. He gestured with his chin. Alcarawan? Wait, but why did Tateno let Alcarawan live? Kano couldn't believe his eyes. There, walking along the sidewalk ahead, was Alcarawan very much not in custody. What the hell? Kano shouted, already hopping out of the car. Stanley was right behind him. They crept up on their target as silently as possible. They rushed him once they were close. In a moment, they had subdued him. Kano used his own body weight to hold Alcarawan down. What are you doing out here? He demanded. Whoa, hey, guess you didn't get the memo, huh? Alcarawan flashed a coy grin. Then let me go. Let you go? I think your buddy here might have hearing problems, Alcarawan said to Stanley. I'm a free man. Kano turned and glared at Stanley. What is he talking about? No idea. First things first, get this guy back to the precinct. I'll head to the syndicate hangout by myself. You don't think this is weird? Kano asked. I mean, what the heck is this guy doing on the loose again? What matters is that he's free. Maybe he's telling the truth about being let go. But that's ridiculous. Then I guess he must have escaped on his own, Stanley replied. In either case, your buddy screwed up royally. Now it's on you to unscrew things. None of this sat right with Kano, but the fact remained that he couldn't just let Alcarawan go. He gave Stanley detailed directions to the hangout, and the car sped away towards Yoyogi. Then Kano headed back to the precinct with his captive, trying to reassure himself that he might learn something from questioning Alcarawan that would help resolve the case. Why is Alcarawan there? Kano sat opposite of Alcarawan in the interrogation room. He's been attempting to interview the suspect for about a quarter of an hour. Alcarawan sat rammed stiff, not responding to any prompts or questions. What time is it right now? What time is it right now? He asked. They'd taken away his watch, his wallet, a small knife, and his keychain. This was the third time he asked to know the time. Why are you so concerned what time it is? Kano asked. Alcarawan gave no reply. Are you waiting on something? Again, the suspect was staunchly silent. Kano wasn't sure what to make of this, but he took a look at his watch. It's around 2 o'clock, he said. What time exactly? It's 2:18. Okay, so we're at a bad ending right now because this is past the thing. Hey, Dark Pit, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. 2:18 in how many seconds? Look, just cut the crap. Kano grabbed the prisoner by the collar. What the hell are you people after? Alcarawan merely repeated his question. What time is it right now? With a growl of aggravation, Kano shoved his wristwatch in Alcarawan's face. Ah, it's 2:20, Alcarawan said. Okay, that should do it. What? What does that mean? Also, why does the screen go dark? Why does the screen go dark? The interrogation went on for several more hours. Despite Kano's best efforts, however, Alcarawan said nothing more. During all that time, the case continued to develop in unexpected ways, but Kano, stuck it in the interrogation room, knew nothing about it until everything was already over and done. But yeah, we got a bad ending. because we kept interrogating him. Why the heck? Why is the screen dark? Well, first off, the number 26, questioning Alcara Wand. While Kano performed admirably in recapturing Tariq Alcara Wand, ironically, his action actually disrupted the investigation. Maybe letting the syndicate run free for the time being really was the right call. Someone could do something at 1340 that throws a wrench in Kano's activities, thanks to the involvement of unrelated parties, and Kano's reaction will make the investigation play out differently. So somebody has something they can do at 1340. But who can do something at 1340? Tama can do something at 1340. Interesting. But we can't do anything with Tama just yet. Let's go as Minorikawa, maybe. So what if it doesn't start? My favorite voice in the entire game. So I don't know what to do. It's all good, Dark Pit. Alright, so what are we choosing now? Are we gonna be heartbroken? Are we gonna start a ruckus, or I'm just gonna go home? You guys have no context. Just ruckus or go home. My favorite voice in this entire game. It's great. 3. Your PC turned off. That's not good. Home? Alright. I'm just gonna go home. He kept his tone clipped and cool. Hey now, no need for that, sir. Just settle down. Who doesn't like a silly little magic show now and then? You've got 2 minutes. Hey, a minute can't have passed already. 1 minute. Whoa, just what kind of watch you got there? Tell me why the demo isn't starting. No real reason, really. The man was getting seriously flustered. I wanted folks to get to see a little magic show first. Nope, try again. 30 seconds left. Okay, alright. What happened is, the required merchandise, What happened to the merchandise? Minorikawa demanded. By the way, Yanagashita here has a great afro. Just saying. He gave the guy a dagger stare. Oh, well, it's just, Time's up. What? The man's face went pale. Keep out. And I know exactly what we have to do. Ah, oops, sorry to keep you waiting. You're late! What the heck have you been doing? Mr. Yanagashita practically throws himself at me. The weight must have been killing him. Standing behind him is a man I don't recognize, but we surely do. It's Minorikawa. Nope. That's Tama. That's just Tama. Ah, oops. Sorry to keep you waiting, a girlish voice exclaimed. A moment later, a furry figure came charging into the demo room. The crowd fell silent at the sight of a young woman in a cat costume. The cat girl panted visibly. Her arms were loaded with cardboard boxes. You're late, the event organizer snapped. What the heck have you been doing? Grabbing the newcomer by one paw, he vanished with her into the back room. The chubby-cheeked girl wrapped up her magic routine and hurried after them. The audience stared at the now empty stage in confusion. Well, at least Tama got it. Several minutes passed before the organizer reappeared. Ladies, terribly sorry to have kept you waiting, he called out. But now I'm proud to introduce to you the worldwide sensation that is Burning Hammer. True, Peaches. At a signal, the young woman and the cat appeared on stage. Allow us to explain just how this revolutionary new diet drink works. It's magic, the young woman exclaimed cheerily. The cat nodded and threw out her arms. For the first time in human history, you can drink a single bottle and lose a whole kilogram. Just drink and burn that excess weight away. And with that, the sales demo was underway, a good 25 minutes behind schedule. Bye, Dark Pit. Take it easy. See you around. 5 minutes into the presentation, things began to go awry. An angry clamor filled the room. What the heck are you trying to pull? I can't believe you actually tried to sell something like this. The outrage had been triggered by something the young woman on stage had said. She inadvertently let slip that Burning Hammer was the sort of thing you could buy at a 100-yen shop. The would-be customers were furious to learn that they were about to be played for suckers. Most of them had immediately tried to storm out of the room. Now the organizer, the full-figured young woman, and the girl in the cat costume were at the door doing their best to hold back the tide. Things had gotten pretty interesting, really. Minorikawa pulled out his digital camera and started firing off snapshots of the angry customers. A digital camera, some modern digital cameras come with the remarkable ability to automatically trigger the shutter when the subject smiles. This function also works if the camera is presented with a TV or photo image of people smiling. There are even cases of cameras recognizing faces in the wood grain of ceilings. After all, if we can make out faces in the wood when we're gazing lazily up at the ceiling, we can't fault a camera for doing the same. That's actually pretty interesting, because I don't think phones can really do that, can they? I know they can recognize a face, but they don't automatically take the picture. Usually they'll like zoom in and everything, so interesting. Unfortunately, their frenzy was so intense that he was soon caught up with the flow and pushed out of the room. Fine, I guess I'll just need to do some interviews instead of getting pictures. Excuse me, he asked one of the women. Would you mind if I ask you some— Shut your mouth! Poor Minorikawa. Poor Minori. Oh no! He's getting beat up! Would you mind telling me a little bit? Don't you talk to me! Can I get a word on? Unbelievable! Just unbelievable! That woman looks like she just discovered pictures for the first time. That's what happens when you turn on your like front camera. You're like, meanwhile, the woman in the background is like, oh no, he didn't! And the woman next to her is a little bit too pleased with herself. The woman was so enraged that Minorikawa couldn't get any of them to give him the time of day. Yeah, Rip Minorikawa, he's dead. He just got killed by old ladies. Oh my goodness. Before long, the entire crowd had surged out of the room and departed. Ah, well, I guess I've got enough to do a write-up at least. Though it would be nice to get a quote from somebody. He decided to try for an interview with the man who organized this fiasco. How did the guy feel, for instance, about his product scam falling through? Still, Minorikawa's— Oh, Tama! Heading back into the event room, Minorikawa passed by the cat mascot. And we can jump to Tama. So we can see that each other do at least acknowledge each other's existence. Out in the hallway, I passed by the man I noticed earlier, the one I didn't recognize. So you can actually jump between their stories as such. Which, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But we're going to stick with Minorikawa. The cat gave him a tiny nod and walked off without a word. He couldn't see the face of the girl inside the costume, but she seemed genuinely dejected that Burning Hammer had been a bust. So that's their first interaction. Hi, I'm Minoru Minorikawa, freelance reporter. I was wondering if I could have 5 minutes of your time. The organizer sat alone in the midst of his ruined displays. Oh, it's you. The man's voice had lost all of its earlier punch. Here, my credentials. Minorikawa handed him a business card. The man introduced himself as Yanagashita, and Minorikawa got right down to business. So, your sales demo is over, Mr. Yanagashita. How do you feel right now? How do I feel? Well, tomorrow's another day, I guess. It's a good way to look at it, at least. You know, his entire show, his product fell through. He got scammed numerous times. Minorikawa was impressed by the guy's candor. I'm a little surprised to hear that, he said. I figured you'd be more disappointed. Oh, I'm plenty disappointed. I took a big gamble here to repay my debts, and I lost. Yanagashita didn't seem to be trying to hide anything. Debts? Minorikawa asked. There was a girl I was in love with, Yanagashita said. I wound up spending everything on her, who I believe is Miku. He stared wistfully into the distance. Ah, interesting, Minorikawa said. You wouldn't be the first man to go to such lengths for a woman. Yeah, Yanagashita said. I suppose not. A rueful smile crossed his lips. This guy didn't strike Minorikawa as some dyed-in-the-wool scam artist, but I decided that it was time to stop feeling sorry for myself. Yanagashita went on. There are plenty of people in the world who have it way worse off, you know? He just found out that Tama has amnesia, actually. That's also something that's been happening. Tama has amnesia, and she's worried about who she actually is. All she knows is that necklace that she wanted to buy is important to her. You got that right. Minorikawa nodded in agreement. So I just figured, well, as long as I'm still alive, maybe another opportunity will come my way. A more earnest smile broke through Yanagashita's forlorn expression. Minorikawa wished Toyama could have been there to hear this fellow.
I have a friend who's in an incredible amount of debt myself, Minorikawa said. He runs a publishing company, but there was a big mix-up with the scratch cards in his magazine and...
Scratch cards? It's not important, Minorikawa said hurriedly. Letting more people know about the whole scratch card fiasco certainly wouldn't do Toriyama any favors.
Anyhow, debt is a terrible thing.
Don't I know it? 'Cause I'm in debt too. It's a tough thing. Definitely tough, but there are ways to get through it. I'm getting through it. Hopefully Yamashita can get through it, Toyama. Definitely the story is interesting, Happy Squid. Once again, if you guys have not checked out the other streams I've done to this, I highly recommend them. Like, this is a game that definitely the story. There's a reason this game got a 10 out of 10 with Famitsu. I believe it was Famitsu. And is kind of rated the best visual novel in Japan. It's definitely a really good story.
Oh, by the way, this is unrelated, but are you familiar with a group called SOS? Apparently there's some legendary street gang here in Shibuya.
SOS? Yamashita shook his head. Nope, never heard of them. Guess I'm not going to get any leads on that case here. Minorikawa wondered if there was anything else worth asking this guy. Maybe Yamashita would be willing to take a Shibuya Now survey. No, nothing really came to mind. It was about time to wrap this up. Let's do the Shibuya Now survey. Let's see. Maybe Yamashita would be willing to take a Shibuya Now survey. Take a little bit of the burden off of Chiaki seemed like a good idea.
I have another question. How do you feel about your life right now?
Huh?
How do you feel about your life? Your products aren't selling, you can't repay your debts, and yet you still refuse to give up, believing opportunity will come your way. How do you feel about all that?
Yamashita paused and thought. I'd say I'm a pretty lucky guy. Minorikawa was taken somewhat aback by that response. I haven't been able to sell any burning hammer. And sure, I can't pay off my debts. But even so, Yamashita looked Minorikawa right in the eye. The two cute young girls I got working for me have stuck with me through thick and thin. Sometimes, maybe you just need to be content with something like that, you know? That was refreshingly forthright. Minorikawa was surprised. And I mean, so what if I got debts? Yamashita went on. In the long run, none of that matters. Not really. True. Like, even though I got my debts, I got an amazing community. I got the badass kid party. Like, none of that matters at the end of the day, as long as I have you guys. Being honest, so thank you. There's a knock at the door. Oh, excuse me a moment, Yamashita said. I wonder who that could be. It's probably the loan sharks. He opened the door and his face froze. Damn. Wasn't quite quick enough. Mr. Minorikawa?
Yes?
You'll have to pardon me. I've had a little something crop up here, so if you don't mind...
Oh, sure, not a problem. I got other interviews I need to get to anyway, so I'll just...
Yamashita was out the door before Minorikawa could even finish. Yeah, it's the loan sharks. Stepping out into the hallway, Minorikawa could faintly hear voices from the adjoining demo room. It sounded like Mr. Yamashita and two other men. Minorikawa couldn't make out any words, but he could tell they were arguing about something. There's probably some consumer complaint against one of his products or an issue with a client company. Something along those lines.
Man, people who run companies sure have it rough. You hang in there, Mr. Yamashita.
Nope, it's the loan sharks pretty much killing him. Rest in peace, Mr. Yamashita. Oh, perfect timing. Perfect timing! Mr. Minorikawa stopped short as a familiar voice called out to him. It was the man he'd spoken to earlier that afternoon about the surveillance cameras. Hey, come here for a sec. That's right, he does the Michael Myers voice. The man waved him over.
What is it? I'm real busy right now.
I've got a scoop for ya. Saw it with my own eyes.
Morikawa raised an eyebrow.
Give me the details.
Okay, so a little while ago, I saw some foreign guy in handcuffs arguing with someone who looked like a detective.
A foreigner in handcuffs? Had there been some kind of international sting or something? Whatever the case, it wasn't such a rare thing to see.
Where was this?
Just over there, behind the police station.
Morikawa furrowed his brow. A suspect arguing with a cop outside a police station wasn't all that weird. Still, he had a feeling he was missing something here. Well,
the big thing is what happened afterward, the man said.
Afterward? The man leaned in conspiratorially.
The detective undid the guy's handcuffs and let him run off.
Huh? That's Al-Karawan, who got let go. It was by Sasayama. Tateno let him go. Tateno let Al-Karawan go. What?
Whoa, what?
I'm telling you, man. It had to have been like a bribe or something.
A bribe?
That seemed unlikely.
I swear that's what it had to be. There was some real greasing going on.
You're not making this all up, are you?
Minorikawa asked. He regarded the man coldly, but the guy still seemed quite legitimately worked up.
It's all true. Please, you have to report this to the police right away.
Why do I have to?
Minorikawa asked.
If you have a tip for the police, go give it to yourself.
He didn't quite manage to stop himself from saying that out loud.
No, I can't. I'm no good when it comes to police. Besides, they're never gonna believe someone like me.
Okay, so maybe he had a point there. I mean, let's be honest.
But you're some world-class reporter, right? The cops would totally take your word over that of a random nobody.
It's very true. Minorikawa didn't have time to debate the point. It was easier just to make the call. He phoned up the police to leave the tip. The man bowed repeatedly, looking pretty grateful. Interesting.
Oh, thank you so much. I haven't been able to get any business done with those scary thugs around.
What thugs? What line of business are you in anyway?
What?
The man suddenly went pale.
Oops. I gotta get going.
He skidded off in alarm. He runs the Thingamabob's store, though. Interesting. Minorikawa was left to wonder what this guy's line of work actually was, but he had more important things to worry about at the moment. He hurried off in the other direction. Before long, he arrived back at Cafe Lautrec. The clock on the wall showed that it was close to 2 o'clock. He had to somehow fill 6 more pages before the loan company came to Heaven Publishing to collect. Welcome back, Caitlin. Caitlin, you missed Etz, unfortunately. But he became a chill dude. He said that he's living life pretty well, even though he's in debt. So he booted up his laptop. What's with this coffee shop? Said a low, stern voice. You've got no good magazines here. Minorikawa looked up. Oh, it's this guy. An older man was complaining to one of the waitresses. It was the same guy who'd been yelling at his daughter earlier. Evidently, he'd been here at the cafe this whole time.
Haven't you got any good magazines for me to read?
The man's face was a mask of irritation. Minorikawa glanced at the magazines in the rack. They were mostly geared toward a younger reader. The waitress sifted through the stacks and pulled something from the back. Perhaps this would be to your liking, sir? She said. She held out an issue of 4-star general gossip. Hey, Sophie, how's it going? How's your day going today?
Don't be ridiculous, the man spat dismissively. This is vulgar, low-grade filth. I wouldn't even use this paper as printed on for compost.
That was a harsh way to put it, but Minorikawa couldn't fault him for speaking the truth. He's writing for that magazine right now. The man continued grumbling as he went back to his seat. Wow, they're still waiting for Kano, though, which is interesting. Minorikawa headed over to the magazine rack himself to pick up the gossip. He opened the front cover and found the scratch card still inserted within. If these things were still out there, it was bad news. Toyama might end up even further in debt. Bah! Minorikawa yanked the scratch card out and tore it to bits. Sir, what are you doing? The waitress rushed to stop him, only for the pieces to rain down on her like confetti.
This magazine itself is still perfectly readable, Minorikawa said. There's no problem here.
He strode back to his seat and gazed at his laptop screen. He just ripped over. He's like, scratch card, no more money for anybody. It still hadn't finished booting up. In the meantime, he decided to give Chiaki a call. See how Chiaki's doing. I think she actually got an interview, right? She picked up right away. Hello? Minorikawa asked. Hi there, good to hear from you, Chiaki replied.
How's progress?
I did it, Chiaki said, her voice overcome with emotion. I managed to get people to hear me out.
Of course you did. You got your pointers from me.
Yes, I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Mino. Her mood had done a complete 180. Minorikawa allowed himself a little sigh of relief.
Okay then, he said. Head back to the editing department and put together an article for me.
You got it, sir, Chiaki chirped in reply.
I'll email you as soon as I'm done with things at my end, Minorikawa told her. Just use the DTP to slide your piece into the right spot in the layout.
DTP, abbreviation for desktop publishing, refers to the process of editing a manuscript's layout on a computer preparatory to sending it to a printer, also used to refer to software used for creating such layouts. Creating layout data that is ready for printing but has not actually been printed yet is also sometimes called DTP. Why DTP all have the same sound? I said this on stream once, I think during Dead by Daylight, but I don't know how many of you guys like have to do calls and talk to like automated voice systems. Like there's like the dial tone where you have to click like the buttons, but now it's going to voice automated. Try saying DTP when it's asking for you to like say like if you have to spell something out like for insurance or something. because it will always get it wrong because they all sound the same and it's the most annoying thing ever. I don't know why they sound the same. Sure thing. Minorikawa hung up and then rolled up his sleeves. He sure was towing a pretty narrow line today. The Burning Hammer event had kept him a little longer than anticipated. Now he needed to clean up his copy as soon as possible in order to stick to his schedule. When he turned back toward his laptop, however, he froze with shock. What? His laptop monitor was still a black, empty screen. There's no way it would take it this long to finish booting up. Oh, it couldn't be. No, don't let it be true. He had his computer decide to pick now of all times to give up the ghost? Uh-oh. Minorikawa felt the blood drain from his face. Uh-oh. Abandoning? To be continued? Oh my gosh, it's to be continued. Minorikawa's screwed. Oh my gosh, he's screwed. His computer's dead. Uh-oh. Oh no, his computer is dead. Uh-oh. Scared of those automated voice messages? Yeah, no, they're pretty... No, they're honestly pretty terrifying, especially when they start responding to you, because then you start thinking that the AI overlords are going to probably take over. That's probably a thing. Also in 1340. I guess we'll do Achi's story now. We'll just keep running through everything, I guess. It's weird. So they caused the accident. When they were halfway across, the car slammed on its brakes to keep from hitting them, causing several cars behind it to crash into one another. The multiple vehicle pileup plunged the roadway into total chaos. In a matter of moments, the street was clogged with a long line of stopped vehicles. Achi and Hitomi's pursuers remained on the other side and did not pursue.
Okay, that was crazy.
Hitomi panted as she caught her breath.
Well, you know what they say. Oh, sorry, that was her. Well, you know that they say idle feet are the devil's playthings.
Hands. It's idle hands. Whatever, at least they got away. I don't know what the right choice there would be. Because we caused the accident. But, I don't know.
Come on, let's go!
Achi led the way down to several twisting side streets before slowing his pace. But now Hitomi was slumped and panting heavily. He wanted to give her some time to rest, but if they just hung around, their pursuers might still find them. He looked around and spotted a multi-tenant building. The nearest door was open. Bundles of flyers were sat out near the entrance. Flyers for Au Revoir, this 22nd performance by the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. It tells the tale of a man named Ryu looking back on his 100-year life as a warrior. The performance features wire action as its major set piece, with Ryu and his rival Shido flying high through the air, doing battle with the magical mirror Masa Blade and beam sabers respectively. So lightsabers and swords. Nice. Achi peered inside and saw piles of plywood and painted lumber. It looks like this was a storeroom for a theater stage props and scenery.
We can hide out in here, he said.
But... Hitomi hesitated, but Achi gave her a hand a low tug.
It'll be fine. There's nobody around.
I think that's his voice I gave him. I don't remember. It's been a while. There's dogs barking downstairs. They stepped inside the storeroom, and Achi quickly shut the door behind them.
We should probably rest for a bit, he said.
There was a wooden platform set up beside a large piece of plywood. Achi picked up a magazine that had fallen on the floor and spread it out atop the platform's dusty surface.
Here, now you can sit without getting your clothes dirty.
Thank you. Hitomi quietly took a seat. That's 4-star general.
We should probably turn off our cell phones, Achi said. It could really be bad if they rang at the wrong moment.
The two powered off their phones. Achi took a cursory look around. It didn't look like there was any way in or out besides the door they'd come in through. There was a single window set in the wall, but it wouldn't open far enough to let them through. Interesting. Oh! That was the last thing I expected to see. Just suddenly hands on the window. He walked into hands. That's what it is. What's up, Cassie? Human centipede? No, not that. Ah! Hitomi let out a quiet gasp. Someone was outside the storeroom. Achi put a finger to his lips and Hitomi gave a fearful nod. The window's frosted glass blocked any real view in or out. So long as they stayed quiet, they ought to be safe. Whoever was outside pressed their face to the frosted glass, trying to get a glimpse inside. The blurry visage of the foreigner who'd attacked them was dimly visible. Like the man with the cane before him, this guy was quick to catch up. The man pounded on the glass. Achi swallowed the lump in his throat. If this guy got in, they had nowhere to run. Achi turned toward Hitomi. Let's hurry out through the door. We'll be fine. Just sit tight. Let's sit tight. Hitomi clutched onto Achi's arm, hard. Can I help you with something? Said a casual voice from outside. They saw their pursuer react at once, pulling back from the window. That's just a storeroom, you know, the voice added. Something fixed that was a thumbnail. Dang, that's pretty creepy, not gonna lie. Achi heard footsteps scampering away. The kidnapper had run off. Achi exchanged glances with Hitomi and let out a tiny sigh. There were more voices coming from outside now. What was up with that guy? I don't know. Gak.
Whatever. Let's just hurry. Get stuff tidied up.
Man, my throat's raw. It sounded like a conversation between two men, who apparently have 4 different voices. It's crazy. The storeroom door opened, and the men clomped their way inside. Tomonari Takaya and Taro Toga, 2 members of the theater troupe, The Wandering Angels. Takaya is the Wandering Angels actor, playing the lead role of Ryu in today's performance of Au Revoir, the troupe's 22nd piece. Last night, he slept completely naked and caught a cold leading to the sore throat he has now. Okay then. Toga is the stage director, handling things behind the scenes. He's very irritated that Shinichi Bando, in charge of the props, seems to have gone AWOL. TMI indeed. So, what are we getting? Let's grab all these folding chairs over there. The producer said we're gonna need a lot more seats all of a sudden. Mr. Arai said that. Going all out for the troops' last hurrah, huh? Beats me, man. In no real hurry, the men went around carrying the folding chairs away. They didn't notice Achi and Hitomi sitting silently in the shadows. True, Queen Trees. Not gonna change the subject, but how come we're using a dry ice machine and not a smoke machine? Maybe that's why my throat's bothering me. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Nobody's even been operating it and still drawing a ton of power. Think it's effective? Achi and Hitomi waited for the 2 men to finish up. If they were spotted, it would probably cause a scene, and worse still, it might alert the men who were hunting them. Once they carried off the rest of the folding chairs, the men closed the storeroom door. The foreigner could still be somewhere nearby, though, so Achi decided they should hide out in the room a little longer. This doesn't bode well. God, this blows. I wanted to get back out there and look for that blue van ASAP, but Achi trailed off as something occurred to him. Wait a second. Now that's weird. Hitomi looked at him inquiringly. The kidnappers already had the ransom money, yeah? Achi said. That's right. And then they told you that your sister was in some blue minivan. Isn't that kind of weird? What do you mean? Did you figure that your sister was in the minivan by herself? Well, yes. If one of the kidnappers were with her, they wouldn't need to send me to go get her. Right, Achi said. And yet the fact was that as soon as the kidnappers had their money, they could have let Hitomi's sister out of the vehicle and just run off. Welcome back, Baba. There was no point in sending Hitomi to fetch her personally. A look of revelation dawned on Hitomi's face. Oh! That minivan had already left Dogenzaka, she said. And it came back while we were there waiting for it, Achi finished. He thought back to his earlier run-in with the blue vehicle. So then inside that minivan, there had been a bunch of foreigners inside. Which meant the kidnappers had been trying to ambush Hitomi, or kidnappers didn't have any intention of giving her sister back. Either one worked, so the kidnappers have been trying to ambush Hitomi. They told her that her sister was in that minivan to lure her to it. And the kidnappers have been lying in wait inside. Do you think they were trying to kidnap me too? So, that's it. Achi clapped his hands together. Then they let your sister go and demand a ransom for you. And then they'd make her deliver the ransom money for your release. Then they'd be able to get it like infinite ransom money by constantly abducting one twin after the other. That seems a little far-fetched. Yeah, I don't think people would just kidnap the other over and over again. Seems like they would pick up pretty quickly on that. Infinite ransom money, though. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Now that she said so, Achi realized it was kind of a ridiculous idea. Still, what if the kidnappers really were trying to Still, what if those kidnappers really were trying to kidnap me? Tomi said. Isn't like they accidentally abducted the wrong twin? I mean, I guess that would have been easy to botch up. That would imply that they wanted me specifically, and not my sister. Tomi paused briefly in thought. But why one and not the other? Maybe you're hotter than your sister or something. Oh my gosh. Okay, Achi. Okay. Oh, sorry, nose. Okay, man. That's not the thing to say to a girl. Maybe you're hotter than your sister or something, Achi suggested with enthusiasm. Hitomi shook her head. That can't be it. If anything, it's the other way around. Ship. Hardcore ship. Compared to my sister, I'm just... Whoa, hey, stop right there. Achi had to interrupt her. You're not just anything. Please don't. I'm just... Tears had welled up into Tomi's eyes. Why'd this have to happen to her? Why not me? Whoa, hey, come on, don't cry. I'm sorry. Cheer up. It's like that song says. Don't just stand there, wipe those tears away. That one. You know it? Is that Ayakamiki? Yeah, that's the one. Put your hand in mine. Every single bee's a light. Huh? You know, every single bee's a light. Don't think that's the song. Hitomi let out a giggle. Everything will be alright. Achi. Oh, poor Achi. What did he say? Every single bee's a light. Everything will be alright. You've got the lyrics wrong. It's everything will be alright. Ah, right, yeah. I guess it makes more sense, I guess, than a bee. Achi's mouth curled into a sheepish smile. Ship, hardcore ship. These two better get together. Alright, I think we've laid low long enough, Achi said at last. Think we should be on our way? He was about to get to his feet when he heard voices outside the storeroom again. Yikes, that was pretty careless of us. Yeah, we definitely gotta watch it. The theater guys from earlier had returned and they sounded a bit panicked. Tomonari Takaya and Taro Toga, two members in the theater troupe, the Wandering Angels. Takaya is the Wandering Angels' star actor, but lately, in addition to appearing on their stage, he's been taking on TV drama and film work as well. The next work he's slated for is the Sun TV's upcoming suspense drama, Sumo Queen 2, where he will play the referee who utters the lame line, "Looks like things are getting heavy," upon discovering a victim's dying message inscribed in one corner of the sumo ring. Wow. Wow. Looks like things are getting heavy talking about sumo women. Good job. Her folks have been messing with the storeroom a bunch recently. Did you hear who's behind it? Some juvenile delinquents. Like a gang? Wow, that takes me way back. Uh-oh. Alright, let's hurry on back. Uh-oh. Ashi rushed over to the door. He tried turning the knob, but the door wouldn't budge. Oh, come on, are you freaking kidding me? He paced frantically around the room, pulling out his hair. We're locked in! Uh-oh. That door was the only way in or out. Achi and Tomi were well and truly trapped inside the storeroom. This is all my fault, Achi said. It was my idea to hide out here in the first place. He bowed to Tomi repeatedly. We're never going to be able to find that blue minivan now. Guess we'll have to get someone on the outside to help us, Tomi replied. She scowled thoughtfully. They powered their phones back on in order to call for help. Oh, Hitomi chirped. That's me. That's an Ayakamiki song. She took a look at the LCD display. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Ah, okay. Hitomi began typing out a response with practiced ease. More wild delusions rose on Achi's mind. Ideas and fantasies conjured up in one's mind with no logical or practical basis. People can become deluded for varying reasons about a whole host of different subjects. Thankfully, Achi's delusions here are of an ultimately harmless sort. Why is this game getting so specific? Tends to happen. I mean, right now Achi's thinking about Hitomi and Tanaka banging, so... Harmless sort. Harmless sort, he says. I was making a joke? I was making a joke? I was totally making a joke. And then the game was like, oh, harmless? Love! Like, I was making a joke, and welcome back, Whammy. I was making a joke. Stealing a quick glance at Hitomi, he noticed her gazing happily at her phone's screen. His delusions ran even more wild. While he was still fretting furiously, Hitomi finished typing her response. So, what did you wind up saying? Achi asked. I explained the situation. That we're trapped in a storeroom. We've got some guys chasing after you, and you're looking for some man? Yes, I also asked him to please keep the secret from my family and the police. Whoever this Tanaka guy was, Hitomi sure seemed to put a lot of trust in him. A short while later, Hitomi's phone chimed with a reply. She checked the screen and it flashed all eagerness. Excuse me. Wild true. Achi, couldn't help but ask, so what's the Tanaka guy have to say? His utmost to pretend he didn't notice. Let's just ask. Achi couldn't help but to ask, so what's that Tanaka guy have to say? A hint of jealousy slipped into his voice. He says he's going to try to find the minivan for us. Huh? If he just comes and let us out, I can go look for it myself. He says he wants us to hide out here a little longer. Ugh, what the hell, seriously? He says that if someone's after me, it's safer to stay where we are. Yeah, I'm out of the running, Achi thought to himself. Poor Achi. This Tanaka was clearly pretty concerned for her, and there's really only one reason a middle-aged man would think like that. Alright, fine, we'll wait. Achi turned his own phone off and sunk back in a huff. Seriously, dude, you got your heart broken and now you just don't want to help? That's not good. After 20 more minutes in the storeroom, the two were sitting in silence. Achi had run out of things to talk about. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? You and that one guy, Susumu, I think it was. Oh, sorry. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? You and that one guy, Susumu, I think it was. True, Queen Cheese. Tanaka's secret's like, oh, this Achi guy. I don't know who he is, but love! Hitomi's question caught Achi off guard. He stammered, unsure how to respond. Hitomi shook her head. I'm so sorry. I barely know you. That was insensitive of me. No, it's alright. I mean, sometimes I wish things could go back to the way they used to be, Achi said. True. Ain't that a mood? He let out a tiny sigh. What that Kiryu guy said was the truth. I was the guy who founded SOS. Do you know what I mean by that? Hitomi gave a slight nod. I mean, I never wanted to be in charge of a gang or anything, but I knew that if I left, SOS would just fall apart, and I didn't want everyone else to get all caught up over who would take my place, you know? So I thought long and hard about it, looking for a way for folks to stay friends even after I was gone. The loud voice echoed through the pool hall that served as SOS HQ. A pool hall is an establishment for playing pool, more formally known as pocket billiards. This particular place is a pool bar, serving alcohol. The standard pool table is rectangular in shape, supports 6 pockets, 4 in the corners, and 1 in the middle of each long side, and supports multiple games, including 9-ball, 8-ball, and rotation. There are also tables without pockets. The style is known as Carmen Billiards. By the way, pool and billiards is so much fun to play. I love playing it, even though I will make the ball bounce because of how hard I hit it. What do you mean you're leaving? Susumu was positively red in the face. You're all found her, Achi! You can't just up and quit! Susumu had been almost like a younger brother to Achi. If anyone was going to try to stop him, Achi knew full well it would be Susumu. Look, I'm not the gang leader material. All I've been trying to do is make sure we'd be able to have some fun. That's not true, Susumu said. Think about that stuff you taught us! Don't you remember? Every man gets to make one request in his life that cannot be denied. Those are your words, Achi. Did I say that? It's the heaviest thing you've ever said. Then, to Achi's consternation, Susumu got down on his hands and knees. I'm begging you, please don't leave. Without you, SOS is nothing. Achi could feel his conviction waver. I'm begging you here, from one man to another. This is my one request. Susumu, I'm sorry. Achi could barely croak out the words. I'm leaving you in charge. You can't, Susumu pleaded. Please don't say that. Achi turned his back to him in silence. Please, Achi, why won't you listen? I can't possibly beg any harder than this. Enough with all the request nonsense. Achi grimaced. What? Look at you, down on your hands and knees like that. Pathetic. ultimately stems from the Greek pathetikos, meaning subject to feeling or capable of emotion. Over time, the meaning changed to signify exciting the passions, and later on to the more modern sense of arousing one's pity. Achi spoke as harshly as he could, fighting to mask his true feelings. I'm fed up with you. All of you. With each word out of his mouth, Achi could feel his own heart breaking. But if he could make the others hate him, at least it would give SOS a reason to stay together. How can you say that? Don't you try to pull that crap! Susumu's tone had changed from sadness to anger. Fine then, he railed. I'm never asking you for anything again. I'll do what you want. I'll take the reins of SOS. Achi walked away, waving vaguely without looking back. Good luck. I mean it. Once he stepped out of the pool hall, he wiped his sleeves across his face and came away wet with tears. Aw, poor Achi. Missing his friends. Sometimes I think that maybe I could apologize to those guys. We could go back to the good old days again. But that's never gonna happen, not unless Susune gets better. He stared into the distance at nothing in particular. At least he sorted out how he felt about his former pals. Is there something that you can help your sister? Hitomi asked. She needs a heart transplant. A heart transplant? So somebody has to die to save her. I think his sister's gonna die. I know I work in a medical office, but like I don't know too much about like the different surgeries so far yet. I'm still learning. But I'm pretty sure a heart transplant can only happen from somebody who's pretty much on the brink of death. And the problem with heart transplants is that the timing is tricky. The act of surgically implanting one person's heart into another's body. Such an operation is typically only performed on a patient with severe heart disease who cannot survive without a new heart. There are strict requirements that must be met before a heart can be transplanted, however. Chief among them, that the donor must first be brain dead. Keep that in mind. Please, there might be somebody who might be brain dead in this. Oh my gosh, I'm shaking, honestly. Even if there's a donor available, the transplant has to be performed within 4 hours or things get dicey. Because lack of oxygen causes damage, referred to as warm ischemia damage, and any organ removed from a human body, a transplant must be carried out and blood circulation restored within a certain time window, known as total ischemic time. In the case of a heart transplant, total ischemic time is only 4 hours. Helicopters and charter jets are frequently used to rapidly transport hearts for such operations. Oh no. Oh wow, I didn't realize. Someone with a heart that's a match for Susune would need to die somewhere near her, somewhere they can perform the surgery within that 4-hour window. I don't think this is a red herring. I think literally somebody's gonna die. Either that or Susune is gonna die. The odds of that happening are so small it would be almost a miracle, which is what my sister's been waiting for. Achi thumped the left side of his chest. If my heart would do the trick, I'd gladly let her have it. Damn it, I've got a strong heart too. He thumped himself on the chest again and again. Same, Queen Cheese. He didn't mention it to Hitomi, but Susune's blood type made finding her a heart transplant even more difficult. She had Bombay blood, a type of blood that does not correspond to the more common types of AB, O, or AB. In some instances, a standard blood type yields a result of O in such individuals. First discovered in the city of Bombay, now Mumbai, on India's west coast, the blood type takes its name from that city due to its relatively high incidence rate among the inhabitants. Interesting, so it's super unique. And keep that in mind. Hold on. It was one of the rarest blood types in the world. Apparently there were only a few dozen people in all of Japan who had it. Rare blood types such as Bombay are scarce enough that even nationwide blood centers seldom have them in sufficient supply. For this reason, when such blood types are discovered in everyday testing, samples are quickly taken to be frozen and stored at temperatures lower than 80 degrees below centigrade. Keep in mind, the magnifying glass. That is real. People have... Wow, I only thought there were only like 4 blood types. Technically 8 because of plus and or positive, negative, or whatever it is. It's crazy. If Susune were ever to receive a heart transplant, it would need to be somebody who also had Bombay blood. If we find somebody with Bombay blood, that's a death flag. I'm calling it right now. Achi? Hitomi sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Wow, she must really feel bad for Suzune. If you did manage to find a heart for your sister, what would you do? What do you mean? Say, if you happen across somebody who has a donor match. I would do anything. Anything? Yeah, whatever it took. I'd risk my own life if it meant helping Suzune. I mean, at that point, I'd assume God had granted me a miracle or something, you know? Aww. Mr. Tanaka? Unfortunately for these two, it's not Mr. Tanaka. Right now, Tanaka is at the Osawa residence on his way to speak with Kenji Osawa, who's washing dishes after lunch. Well, we can jump to Osawa. What are we about to see? We're about to, because keep out means it's a pivotal point. This is pivotal. Director, if you have a moment. Tanaka poked his head into the kitchen. I've got something urgent to discuss with you.
Yes, of course.
Osawa took the bug tracker from his pocket and handed it back to Kajiwara.
I won't be needing this anymore.
As soon as they had left the kitchen, Tanaka leaned in close and whispered to him, I've got an email from Hitomi. He showed his cell phone to Osawa. It looks like my sister is being held captive in a blue minivan somewhere in Shibuya, but that man is still chasing me, so I can't really go looking for it. A blue minivan? Allow me to handle this, sir. I'll figure something out. Osawa knew he trusted Tanaka for a reason.
Thank you, he said with a bow.
Oh, you wouldn't happen to know any place she might have gone, do you, sir?
What?
It's just that all she's told me is that she's been moving around.
I'm sorry, I don't really have any idea, Osawa replied.
He was ashamed to say it. It wasn't a single place he knew of where his daughter might be inclined to go. Ah, I see. Tanaka, picking up on his discomfort, was visibly embarrassed himself. He hastened to change the subject.
By the way, how did the talk with Mr. Makino go? I confirmed that he was behind the human testing, but I don't know who sent me those emails.
Tanaka paused for a moment in thought, looking like he might have a hunch. All right then, he said. We'll have to talk in more detail later. With that, the assistant director headed for the front door. Tanaka... Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara spoke from the kitchen door.
Peeping in on me again, huh? Osawa grumbled.
Thankfully, it didn't appear that the detective had overheard this conversation with Tanaka.
And good grief, that thing is noisy. If it's broken, why don't you just throw it out?
The sounds of the bug tracker grew fainter and fainter. Something wasn't right, Osawa now realized. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara said, this is my bug tracker.
So? Osawa huffed.
What I mean is, sir, this one isn't broken.
What?
A chill ran up Osawa's spine. He swallowed audibly. I've pinpointed the source of the signal, Kajiwara said. It's coming from Mr. Tanaka. No, Osawa thought. I must have misheard that.
Hold on. Say that again?
I've located the source of the signal. It's coming from Mr. Tanaka, the detectives repeated. This time Osawa heard him crystal clear. I'm certain of it. Mr. Tanaka has a listening device on him. Osawa felt the blood draining from his face. If someone had been listening in on the conversation just now, then they'd heard about the email from Hitomi. If the kidnappers were the ones listening, that meant Maria's life was now in danger. I'll go after him, sir. Kajiwara broke into a sprint. Osawa followed close behind. Tanaka's a bad guy? No way. Sorry, Kenji Osawa and Cat? Kenji Osawa and Cat. Wait a second. What? Mr. Tanaka? Hitomi's voice was barely a squeak. For a moment, all was silent. Maybe it's a cat, Tachi suggested, or not. We can jump to Tama now. It's still a keep out, though. Hold on. What? It's time I skin this cat. I need to get rid of this costume, whatever it takes. I take hold of the head in both hands and yank it upward as hard as I can. Uh-huh. Please tell me I'm not just imagining things. The head feels a whole lot looser than it did before. If I give it a good enough push, then maybe... Rug! Tama gets the hat off. It comes off. I did it! I slip out of the rest of the cat costume and gleefully abandoned it as I head for the knick-knack shop. No, it's still keep out. So there's more to it. There's definitely more to this. Oh, sorry. Maybe it's just a cat, Achi suggested. Or not. The doorknob rattled ominously. You really think that's Tanaka? Achi asked. I'm not sure. If it were him, I think he'd probably say something. Achi grabbed Hitomi's hand. We better hide. The two of them slipped behind a large piece of plywood and staged dressing. Who is it? The door opens. The door swung open with a loud creak. Can I just say how creepy this is? Can I... Tama doesn't have the head on. Tama doesn't have the head on. How is this happening? In stepped a cat. Oh, it's just a kitty cat. A giant kitty cat walking upright. Achi and Tommy stared in confusion as someone in a cat costume slipped into the room. There was something vaguely sinister about the fuzzy figure. The cat had both hands stuffed into its pockets and it shuffled as it walked, dragging one leg. You think that's someone with the theater troupe? Achi whispered. Maybe. The two huddled in the shadows, pressed almost cheek to cheek. They watched as the cat raffled around inside one of its pockets and pulled something out. It was a bundle of keys, no doubt the ones that it had used to get inside. Achi's eyes fixed on the furry mitt that held them. It was stained dark red. That could be only one thing. Blood. In that moment, Achi finally realized just what was going on. That's no theater guy. It was the assassin. He used the cat suit to slip past the theater people and had somehow gotten his hands on the storeroom keys. Now he tossed the keys away, then delicately adjusted the costume's wobbly head. Hitomi, we gotta run. Huh? Hitomi seemed frozen, mesmerized. What are we witnessing? Who is this? Why did we get out of the cat suit? Okay. The cat turned directly toward them. The fur around its mouth was stained crimson. Hitomi let out a high-pitched cry of shock. The cat drew its other hand out of its pocket. Clutched in its mitt was a gun. Achi and Hitomi had nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. Bad ending. What's up with the cat? Disguised in the cat costume, the killer managed to corner Achi and Hitomi, but where'd he get that costume? As it happens, if Tama's fault, she tossed the suit away after taking it off, allowing the assassin to find it and use it to deliver the theater troupe, deceive the theater troupe, and gain access to the storeroom. Little could she have known. You'd think they would let me keep going if it did a keep out, but I think there's definitely more to it. Alright, so let's keep the cat costume on. Guess the cat's staying in the bag. I figure I'll head to the knick-knack shop. Keep out? Yeah, so it's gonna do keep out again. That's fine. It should be fine now. There should be no killer cat now. Well, we have to keep waiting right now because we've already seen this before. He thought about his former pals. There's nothing I can help your sister. She needs a heart transplant. There's a problem with heart transplants. Yeah. Just keep going. Once again, once we get to be continued with everything, we will check the other options and we'll try to get all the bad endings. So, speaking of which, I will making sure I pull up the correct one. There we go. Because we're getting close to the end here for this block. But this is definitely crazy stuff. If you happen across somebody who is a donor match, yeah, there we go. Cool. Do anything, yeah, whatever. Took a risk my own life. We've already seen this before. Achi's crying. Alright. A door. Mr. Tanaka? Hitomi's voice was barely a squeak. For a moment, all was silent. Maybe it's just a cat, Achi suggested. Or not. Suddenly, someone hit the door hard. It sounded like they were trying to break the lock. Let's finish this one first before we jump to Tama. You really think that's Tanaka? Achi asked. I'm not sure. If it were him, I think he'd probably say something. Achi grabbed Hitomi's hand. We better hide. The two of them slipped behind a large piece of plywood stage dressing. Uh-oh. The door swung open with a loud creak. It's the man with the cane. In stepped the man with the cane. What the heck? Achi whispered. What's he doing here? Gun drawn, the assassin prowled slowly around the storeroom. Achi and Hitomi crouched behind the plywood prop, trying not to make a sound. The man moved out of their line of sight. Achi gazed longingly at the door. Achi risked a peek around the corner of the plywood. He still couldn't see the man with the cane. The door was maybe 5 meters away. What should they do? They need to just make a run for it? No, they need to wait for a safer chance to escape. He's looking for them, so I think they just need to make a run for it. They need to just make a run for it. Achi took a firm grip of Hitomi's hand. Suddenly, they heard the sound of a cell phone vibrating from behind a tall piece of plywood leaning by the door. The assassin stepped out from behind it. If they made a run for it, they'd probably have bumped right into him. That was a close one. Achi wiped away a few beads of cold sweat. I'm sure this is the place. His voice was low and confident. Uh-oh, did he have friends? Still clutching his phone, the assassin wandered deeper into the storeroom. Achi and Hitomi took the opportunity to slip out the door. They ran through the alleyways back toward the main road. Before they reached it, however, they suddenly found their path cut off by one of the foreigners who chased them earlier, the accomplice of the man with the pipe. He stood waiting for them, holding a knife in one hand. Out of the frying pan and into the fire! If they turned back, Achi knew the man with the cane might have catch up with them, and he had a gun. Achi slipped off his sleeveless jacket and wrapped it around his left arm. He was going to have to use his left arm to guard against the knife while punching with his right hand. He clenched his fist and braced himself, and then suddenly he froze. Huh? A small dark silhouette dropped from somewhere up above. Landing deftly, the newcomer lunged toward the man with the knife, closing the gap between them in a blink of an eye. Urgh! The figure delivered a swift chop to the back of the man's neck. He dropped to the pavement like a dead man, finally giving an Achi, a clear view of the shadow behind him. Huh? Achi couldn't believe his eyes. It was a small-statured young woman with Middle Eastern features. Hitomi let out a little gasp. Canon? Who's Canon? Who's Canon? It's neither of them. It's Canon, apparently. Alright, let's jump. We're jumping to Kenji. Or no, we're jumping to who is this cannon person? Hold on. Let's see. Can we jump to Tama successfully? We've never met Cannon before. It could still be Tama. Actually, yeah, you're right. You're right, Queen Cheese. You're right. Hey, we broke it! Sweet! The sales demo was over, and against all odds, I managed to get paid. Money clutched in one paw, I head to the knick-knack shop to finally buy that necklace I can't stop thinking about. Hello? Anyone here? I call out. There's no reply. Is the shopkeeper out?
Just a moment.
Painting, the sales clerk comes scurrying into the shop behind me.
Sorry about that, just had to pop out for a sec. Well, you would not believe what I just saw.
He leans against a pillar, gasping audibly as he tries to catch his breath.
Oh, you hear about the necklace?
Do you still have it?
Of course!
Thank you so much. I have half the money here and the rest is in my... Oh, I suddenly remember something very important. Oh no! The sales clerk gives me a curious look.
What's the matter?
My wallet, it's still in here. I pat the costume around the tummy.
So why don't you just take that outfit off?
Well, I mean, the zipper's kind of broken. We're gonna learn what Tama looks like. Oh my gosh, we're gonna learn what Tama looks like. I wouldn't be having all this trouble if I could just get out of this darn costume.
Kind of broken. It's way more broken than that.
The sales clerk points me to a full body mirror. He's right, the zipper in the back is hanging open. Taking this thing off will be a cinch now. Oh, thank you. I give him a bow.
I'm not sure you need to be thanking me, he says.
No, I do. If you hadn't pointed that out, I might have let myself stay stuck in here forever. So really, thank you so much. I bow again and again. We now know what Tama looks like. Okay. That just leaves one more to go. I think this is the choice we have to make for some reason. No, nothing really came to mind. It's about time we wrap this up.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Yanagashita. If you excuse me, though, I have to get to another interview.
Oh no, of course. Allow me to walk you out.
Yanagashita rose to his feet. Minori Kano cut to leave.
Oh, that won't be necessary.
It's no trouble. I'm heading out now myself. Gotta run before those guys show up.
What do you mean?
Oh, nobody. Just a personal thing is all.
They parted ways outside the building, and Minori headed off to the cafe to put his article together. What? So Yanagashita avoiding the loan sharks. Does that stops Kano? What? How does that affect anything? At long last, the traffic began to move again. Almost as soon as it did, however, Stanley had to slam on the brakes. It's Yanagashita! A frantic-looking man had jumped out in front of the car. Whoa, hey, what the hell are you doing? Kano spluttered. The stranger plastered his face against the passenger side window. Open up, he shouted. Open the door! The guy showed every sign of total panic. Junichi Yanagashita, something happened just as he parted ways with Minorikawa, and now he's running this way. In quite a panic at that. So we could jump to Minorikawa, but we don't really need to. Don't do it, Stanley warned. Kano hesitated. It wasn't likely they could just drive off with this fellow clinging to the car. Please, you gotta help me! The man slipped his fingers in through the gap in the window, trying to force it further open. Help me! Whoa, hold on, what's your deal? Help me! Sir, just tell me what... Help me! Look, up ahead, Stanley exclaimed suddenly. Kano whipped his head around. There, walking along the sidewalk ahead, was Al-Karawan, very much not in custody. What the hell? Kano tried to jump out of the car, but the frantic stranger had gotten his upper body wedged in the window, and the door wouldn't open. Stanley, his usual steely expression, replaced with a lone look of shock, exited on the driver's side and went after Al-Karawan himself. Kano shouted at the man in the window. Get out of my way! Stanley, wait! Alright, get in, Yanagashita. Get in! If the guy was that desperate to get inside, Kano wasn't about to stop him. Besides, he needed to get that guy to calm down and let go of his arm. Ow! The man yelps. Let go! Let go! He was the one holding on. Why was he demanding to be let go? What the hell is going on? Just as Kano's thought was forming, the crazed stranger was yanked back out of the car, dragging Kano with him. A pair of rough-looking men had grabbed him by his lower body. No! No! He screamed. I can't do 80 days hard labor! Somehow, he was still managing to cling to the tar door. Just give it up and let go already, snarled one of the assailants. The pair shifted their grip and pulled even harder. Kano heard the sound of tearing fabric as the two toughs tumbled backwards. Can somebody take a picture of this? Just so that way, once Caitlin gets here again, we can just remind Caitlin that this is Ets. Why are we here? I don't even know at this point. This just took a turn. I'm gonna clip it, not to put in highlights, but just because, like, just when Caitlin gets back. Screenshot perfect. Thank you, Queen Cheese. Just like that, the crazed stranger was stripped down to his boxers. He let out a pathetic wail. Oh man! The two toughs burst into uproarious laughter at the sight. Now's our chance, one of them managed to sputter. The pantsless man snatched up his ruined garment and bolted like a startled hare, to dart off incredibly quick in the manner of a fleeing rabbit. Yanagashita runs a lot more like a rat than a rabbit, though. Still cackling madly, his two pursuers rushed after him. These loan sharks are getting some exercise, let me tell you. Kano was still staring dumbstruck at the spectacle when Stanley returned to the car. No luck. I lost track of him. This doesn't make sense, Kano said, forcing himself to refocus on the case. Alcara Wan was taken back to the precinct. What's he doing walking free? Stanley gave him a dubious look. Have you seriously not figured it out? He asked. Or is this some kind of strange Japanese joke I'm not getting? What are you talking about? Kano replied. Do you know something I don't? Evidently I do. Your detective Tateno let him go on purpose. That's the only explanation. Enraged at the suggestion, Kano took a swing at him, but Stanley coolly caught his fist. It's not me you should be punching, the American warned. It's Tateno. Uh-oh. Abashed, Kano radioed up Kuze on the wireless. Sir, did Detective Tateno bring Tariq Alcarawan into the precinct? It would appear that, Detective Tateno has gone rogue, Kuze replied with jargon. He what? Surely Kano had misheard. We received an eyewitness account. Someone saw him allowing the suspect to go free. No. No, it can't be. We currently do not know Detective Tateno's whereabouts. Or just what the hell is going on with him. After Kano ended the call, Stanley let out a low chuckle. See. Looks like you had a traitor and you missed. Kano grabbed him by the collar. Stanley snorted. What are you trying to pull here? Tell me what you know, Kano snapped. All I did is state the facts. Look, I watched that man risk his life to talk down to a would-be arsonist. He's a dyed-in-the-wool detective. He'd never betray anybody. I see, Stanley murmured. Then he's the real deal. Real deal? Kano stared in surprise. He expected an argument. Good, he said. I'm glad we're on the same page. Tateno risked his life in order to get people to trust him. He's a dyed-in-the-wool spy is what he is. Huh? Kano didn't have the words. His clenched fist trembling once more, he fumbled for his cell phone again. Uh-oh. Spy? He dialed Tateno's number. The phone rang 5 times but failed to connect. There has to be a reason for this, Kano muttered. Tateno must know something we don't. Really now, Stanley scoffed. And what makes you so sure of that? Because Detective Tateno was sure this kidnapping wasn't about the ransom. Kano's mind drifted back to 9 o'clock that morning. Ahead of their stakeout at the Scramble, he was walking with Tateno through the halls of the Shibuya precinct. We're going to do a bang-up job out there, Detective Tateno, he chirped. He was maybe a bit too excited about getting to take part in such a major case. Tateno patted Kano on the back. You need to take a step back. You're not letting yourself see the forest through the trees. What do you mean, sir? What I mean is that this is no ordinary kidnapping. Tateno's words triggered a little revelation. You're talking about the location for the ransom handoff, aren't you? Kano said. It doesn't make sense for the criminals to pick such a major intersection. Warmer, Tateno replied. Kano frowned inwardly. He had been so sure that was the answer. Have you thought about why they asked to have the sister make the handoff? Kano thought some more before answering. Because women are easier to deal with, he suggested? Colder. If that was the case, why not pick the mother? No, what worries me is the fact that the Osawa girls are twins. They're having us send someone to the handoff who looks identical to the girl they kidnapped. What's going to happen when we do that? What is going to happen, sir? Kano asked. I'm not sure yet, but I have a feeling the kidnapper's plans hinges on it. What the heck are those things? The two exited through the precinct's main entrance. Up ahead, rows of buildings stood tall against the backdrop of bright blue sky. Tenno let out a quiet sigh. To think that so many terrible things are happening out there on such a beautiful day. Solve one case and on others waiting, he went on. As always, what is it about people that drives them to do such horrible things? A girl abducted out of pure greed. When I think of how her parents must feel, I almost can't bear it. They made their way toward the scramble, Tenno continuing talking in a quiet voice. My father was a raging alcoholic. The house was always a complete mess. He was loud, violent, never had any money, always reeked of booze. My mother, she would cry and cry. I was afraid to come home. Every day I stayed out playing as late as I could possibly manage. Kano could hear the pain in Tenno's voice. That life took too much of a toll on my mother. She died when I was still in grade school. And my father, he just got worse. I was there with him at the end, after he wasted away to almost nothing. Not the sort of childhood I'd ever wish on anybody. It sounds like you really went through a lot. Kano hated himself for writing such an empty platitude, but he had no idea what else to say. Kano, as old as I am, I still don't really know what it is to be happy. I think that's probably because I've never known what it's like to have a happy family. Tenno sounded so forlorn. The only happiness I know how to protect is other people's happiness. Pretty true. Kano heard in those words the soul of a true detective. We still don't know Tenno's face, but I'm saying he's the assassin. I just hope you're ready. Sorry, I just hope you're ready. Kano did his best to keep his voice as calm and level as he could, lifting up his clenched fist. Because if I find proof that Tenno is innocent, I'm planting this right into your jaw. Stanley just cracked a wry smile. The traffic had finally diminished, and they rapidly drew close to their destination. The syndicate's hangout was in Tomigaya, and to the southwest of Yoyogi Park. The ratty building looked like it might come crashing down at any minute. The Black Lodge sign out front looked deliberately ominous. Kano knew the place as a bar frequented by expats from various countries, as well as a hotbed of criminal activity. There's a lot of keys. I'll take point, Stanley said. You back me up. He pulled a handgun from his suit pocket. It was a compact Glock, a model frequently used by the FBI or CIA. A Glock is a Glock 17, a semi-automatic pistol developed in Austria for police and military use, notable for its incorporation of large amounts of polymer plastic in its design. A certain Hollywood film included a line of dialogue claiming that the Glock would not show up on airport x-ray machines, but since the gun barrel itself is made of metal, this is assuredly not true. Also, the FBI, a Federal Bureau of Investigation, an American investigative bureau established by the U.S. Department of Justice in 1908, has authority in matters involving crimes across state lines as well as threats to public order such as espionage and terrorism. Generally speaking, the FBI conducts its activities within the United States. And the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, one of the principal agencies of the U.S. intelligence community, reporting to the Director of National Intelligence. Possessing considerable budgetary resources and the vast network of highly trained personnel, the CIA carries out intelligence gathering and covert operations primarily overseas. In recent years, the organization has been devoting major efforts to counterterrorism. Kano drew his own gun, and the two cautiously made their way inside. At the end of the hallway was a wooden door. Stanley signaled with his eyes. Kano gave a tiny nod, and Stanley kicked the door in. The stench of blood hit them as soon as they stepped inside. Kano let out a startled gasp. There were nearly a dozen bodies sprawled out across the floor. He recognized them all. They were men who participated in the repeated attaché case handoffs. Sorry, what? The people with the... What? Each appeared to have been stabbed to death. Stanley took a closer look. The blood's not fully dried. These guys weren't killed that long ago. Kano quickly scanned the bar high and low, but there was no sign of a killer in hiding. There was no trace of Maria either. One of the fallen men let out a faint strained groan. Hey, Kano called out. Stay with us! He hunched down beside the wounded man. A brief gurgle rose from the man's throat. He was clearly struggling to say something, but his voice was too garbled, too indistinct for Kano to make out any coherent words. Kanon. What was that? But there was no more. The dying man went limp and still. Kanen is the girl that they... Uh-oh. To be continued. That's all 5. So let's see what's going to happen in hour 14. I don't know what to expect. Apparently Kanen now is definitely super important, though. Let's see. Achievement Deadly Proposition. For real though, she cute. But Maria! Maria! That's Maria! That... What? I think you did, Justin, because Tama's out of the costume, and it's Maria, which is Hitomi's twin sister, who got kidnapped. But why did she end up in a cat costume? She is kind of cute, that's true. But like... because she looks exactly like Hitomi. That's why I was like, maybe that was Maria, or maybe that's canon? No, that's Maria. That's Maria Osawa. That's Tama's Maria, yeah. Tanaka's listening device, getting rid of the suits. Canon. The laptop's busted. So we're gonna learn more about canon next time. That I know you said that, Queen Cheese. I know you said it was Maria, and I thought in my head it would have been Maria, but I thought it might have been somebody else. It might have been canon, but apparently not. So here's the thing: as far as we know right now, Norikawa and Tama now have officially met. So these two paths probably will cross. These two are now connected by canon, and technically that means Osawa's connected and Maria. But Norikawa's the only one left that like is not really connected fully to like all of them. All right, well before we do anything else, let's choose all the options. Let's choose all the options, and then we can get all the bad endings, and we can go from there.
I'm going to start a ruckus!
He kept his voice firm, his words short and clipped. Hey now, no need for that, sir. Just settle down. Who does like a silly little magic show now and then?
You've got 2 minutes.
Hey, minute can have passed already. All right, so that's just him saying stuff. Let's actually, how about this? Let's get the bad endings first, and I have my list here, so that will tell me what we're missing. So missing number 25. Okay, so we're missing 25, and I'm gonna use the there's a guide that essentially shows, because I start getting like super intricate. I'm perfectly fine because like otherwise we're gonna be here like just messing with everything. So it says here that we have to do Achi's path B, so out onto the main road. They tell me, so if we turn back, so first we need to turn back. What? Follow me. We've already done the turn back, and then they go in here. So that doesn't change too much, however, except for Kano. Minorikawa has to be B. Word of the day. What up, fighter? Hold on. Let's see what's going on with Kano's now. How are you doing today, fighter? Alright, so must be a Kano bad ending. Following Kano's direction, Stanley drove toward the crime syndicate's hangout. There was a good chance that was where Maria was being held. Traffic was particularly non-existent, and they made good time. They cruised down Yamazuka, then passed the train station toward Dogenzaka. All the while, the two men stared out the windshield, neither of them glad to make conversation. They arrived at the Shincento intersection. Take a right here, Kano said. You nervous? Stanley asked as he made the turn. His own tone was calm and level. Kano gave no reply. If the syndicate really was holding Maria hostage up ahead, he and Stanley might wind up putting her in danger by showing up there. If it came down to it, Kano wondered could he count on the man next to him taking the hostage's safety into account. He doubted it, but there was nothing he could do about that now. They arrived at the syndicate's hangout sooner than Kano had anticipated. It was a multi-tenant building in Tomigaya, southwest of Yoyogi Park. The ratty building looked like it might come crashing down at any minute. The Black Lodge sign out front looked deliberately ominous. Kano knew the place as a bar frequented by expats from various countries, as well as hotbed of criminal activity. I'll take point, Stanley said. You back me up. He pulled a handgun from his suit pocket. It was a compact Glock, a model frequently used by the FBI or CIA. Kano drew his own gun, and the two cautiously made their way inside. So we arrived at the hideout at 3:20. So we arrived here early. They immediately heard some sort of ruckus beyond a wooden door at the far end of the hall. Please don't let this be what I think it is, Kano thought to himself. Sweat beaded on his hands as he gripped his gun tighter. He heard the sound of glass shattering. Then came the sound of something heavy falling to the floor. Maria! Ignoring Stanley's previous order, Kano rushed ahead, kicked down the door, and stepped inside. Everyone's dead. He walked right into a massacre. There were nearly a dozen bodies sprawled out across the floor. He thought he recognized them all, the men who participated in the repeated attaché case handoffs. Each appeared to have been stabbed to death. Had these guys all turned on each other? No, that couldn't have been the case. None of the victims are holding a knife, which meant that whoever had killed them must still be hiding nearby. No sooner had Kano come to this conclusion that he heard a muffled cry behind him. Stanley! The American was sprawled onto the floor, face down. Kano rushed over and knelt beside him. Stanley was dead, stabbed through the back. Uh-oh. Oh, there she is! Without an instant's hesitation, Kano stood up again, gun at the ready. He scanned his surroundings, but there was no sign of the killer. But that was impossible. Stanley had been killed more moments ago. Someone had to be here somewhere. Out of nowhere, he felt someone press the tip of a knife into his neck from behind, right at the base of his skull. How? He hadn't noticed anyone coming up on him. There wasn't even anyone else around. Nobody but the corpses scattered across the floor. Wait, the corpses? Kano had checked them. Had it checked to make sure they were all dead, really dead. With his last thought, he realized that that has been his fatal mistake. And that ending. I thought they were dead. Alas, there was nothing to be done for poor Kano now. He wasn't prepared for whoever was wielding that knife. Sometimes it's best not to rush things. Kano and Stanley might not have had their run-in with the killer if they turned up a bit later. There's someone who can cause a traffic jam at 1310, which should keep these two from meeting such a grisly end. So yeah, causing the traffic jam essentially stops it. Wait, why did I just do that? Hold on. Oh, so any of these could technically stop it. So, because it's also saying that Tama's path, if we chose B, would stop it, and Tama's path, if we chose A, would stop it. But right now, all we have to do is worry about Achi, so we will switch this back and cause that traffic jam. So who would have thought causing the traffic jam was the right thing to do? So I'm going to go across. That should stop it. Cool. And we should be good. Okay. And because we got that, I'm also going to just check all the different options here. for Kano, and then we'll move on to the next ending. Damn it, Kano thought he did not have the time for this right now, but if he just hung up, he might be in even deeper hot water. Kano decided he better listen to what the old man had to say. Hello, sir. I'm afraid I'm not really at liberty to take a personal call right now, even if it is from my father-in-law. It is best to sound apologetic.
I'm not your father-in-law.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, sir. He bowed his head reflexively, feeling like an idiot. Okay.
You really don't give a damn about keeping me waiting like this, do you?
Sir, I swear to you, I feel terrible. Please, I just flustered. He took a deep breath and recomposed himself. I promise you, sir. I promise I'll be there. If you could just wait a little while.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Shizu's barking rebuke made Kano break out in a sweat.
You think I'm just gonna let you off the hook just because you're working on a case? This is exactly why I don't want my daughter with some detective.
Great, another angry tirade. But didn't you used to be a detective, sir? Kano muttered.
You watch yourself, you little brat. It's not enough to keep calling me your father-in-law. Now you have to bring that up?
Evidently, Kano had touched a raw nerve. Ever have a dentist hit a nerve while drilling a tooth? That's where this expression comes from. Okay. It seemed like anything he said only made matters worse.
Well, you're not off the hook, Shizu continued. I'm never letting my daughter marry the likes of you.
Aw, poor Kano. His fury hitting its crescendo, Shizu promptly hung up. Why did Shizu hold such intense malice toward police detectives when he'd been one himself? Kano had become a detective from Rumi's sake in the first place, and now it was the biggest thing holding him back. Hey, come on, let's go! Sounds his voice. Alright, so we should be able to continue forward, maybe? Nope. Grimly, he followed the American back to the car. Stanley looks super suave, though. Can we be real here? Okay, so now we should be caught up. Okay, so we all should be... Okay, so it doesn't matter which one we took there. Traffic. That's getting out the cell phone. So this one is, if we call Kajiwara, Osawa gets a bad ending. Dialed up Detective Kajiwara, who was stationed at the Osawa residence. He hoped a little more information about the family's two daughters might shed some light on the situation. Calling Detective Kajiwara. The detective answered promptly. Kajiwara here. Hey, it's Kano. Kano? A horrid jarring beeping was audible from the other end of the line. What's that noise? Kano asked. Sorry, hold on. I can't really hear you. Okay, go on. It sounded like Kajiwara had moved away from the source of the noise, though Kano could still hear it faintly in the background. He explained that he was looking for more info on the Osawa girls. Honestly, Detective Kano, I thought you were more mature than this, Kajiwara said disapprovingly. Come again? Kano said bewildered. What's with the attitude all of a sudden? You've got a little crush, don't you? Kajiwara told him. What? No, Detective, that isn't why. You mustn't let yourself get personally attached to an investigation. Still, I was young and impulsive myself once. I guess I could tell you one thing. Kano kept his cell phone pressed tight against his ear. The two girls, they look exactly alike. Kajiwara kept his voice low, as if he were revealing a major secret. But Kano knew this already. Everyone assigned to the investigation had been informed that the girls were twins at the previous night's briefing. However, Kajiwara continued, still soto voice, their personalities are pretty different. The younger sister Atomi is quite reserved, but Maria is apparently more of a busybody. I see. Kano thought back on Atomi standing in front of the statue of Pachinko. She had indeed seemed like an introvert, though Kano had also sensed her intense commitment to helping her sister. Perhaps she was less demonstrative, but her heart certainly seemed to be in the right place. Why? Kano heard someone shouting in the background wherever Kajiwara was. Poor Osawa. He made Osawa go mad. That's not good. What was that just now, he asked? Mr. Osawa, the girl's father. I think something might have happened. Kajiwara's voice was laced with concern. I should go see what this is all about. Yeah, probably. But Kano, tell me. Yes? Which one is it? Which one do you have a crush on? Kano hung up. Well, we've driven Osawa to insanity. Pretty proud of that. Who's proud that we caused Osawa to... Wait, what? Finally some movement. Achi's stuck. Wait, what? Why is there barking? Doggo, stop barking. Also, finally some movement, so we can jump? The man in the afro. So we can keep going? So what's going on here? He shouted at the man in the window! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! But no matter how hard Kano tried to push him back, the guy wouldn't stop trying to force his way in. Come on, man! Kano yelled. Stanley and Al Karawan were getting further and further away. Seriously, knock it off! And suddenly the man was yanked back to the window from behind. A pair of rough-looking men grabbed him by his lower body. So hold on, why is this? No, he seemed. I can't do any day's hard labor. Somehow he was still managing to cling to the car door. Just give it up, Owen. Let it go already, started one of the assailants. The pair shifted their grip and pulled even harder. Kano heard the sound of tearing fabric as the two toughs tumbled backwards. Just like that, the crazed stranger was slipped down to his boxers. He let out a pathetic wail. Aw, man! The two toughs burst into uproarious laughter at the sight. Now's our chance, one of them managed to sputter. The pantsless man snatched up his ruined garment and bolted like a startled hare. Still cackling madly, his two pursuers rushed after him. Kano was still staring dumbstruck at the spectacle when Stanley returned to the car. Seriously? Why does it still... Interesting. No, look, I lost track of him. This doesn't make sense, Kano said, forcing him to refocus in the case. Al-Karawan was taken back to the precinct. What's he doing walking free? Stanley gave him a dubious look. Have you seriously not figured it out, he asked? Or is this some kind of strange Japanese joke I'm not getting? What are you talking about? Kano replied. Do you know something I don't? Evidently, I do. Your detective Sasayama let him go on purpose. Sasayama? No! That's the only explanation. Enraged at the suggestion, Kano took a swing at him, but Stanley coolly caught his fist. It's not me you should be punching, the American warned. It's Sasayama. Because the tip never came in. I think, maybe. Kano radioed Kuze on the wireless. Sir, Sasayama is supposed to bring Tariq Al-Karan into the headquarters. What's going on? It would appear that, Detective Tateno has gone rogue, Kuze replied with jargon. Wait, what? Kano was sure he misheard. Why did Tateno have to do with any of this? We have received an eyewitness account. Someone saw him allowing the suspect to go free. The tip the police got came from Minorikawa on the request of knickknack shop owner Taisi Yasuda in the wake of their interview around the surveillance cameras. And in the relayed account, Minorikawa described a man who appeared to be a detective speaking to a foreigner in handcuffs behind the precinct before the detective then uncuffed the man and let him go free. No, it can't be. Sasayama was able to back up the account too, Kuze added. He said he handed Al-Karawan over to Tateno. Where's Detective Tateno right now? We don't know that, Kuze said. Or just what the hell is going on. Look, I don't have time to talk now. We cut the line. Stanley let out a low chuckle. I see. Looks like you had a traitor in your midst. Okay, now we're good. Okay, so now we're at the proper place. However, we also need to talk about the man in the afro again. So we can have two different conversations. Stanley, wait! Kano called out. It did appear that Stanley had heard him, though. Kano tried to shake free and get out through the driver's side, but the guy was still clung for dear life. Seriously, knock it off! And suddenly the man was yanked back through the window from behind. Cool. I believe that is all of Kano's options. Correct. Now, because we called... So here's the thing. Because we called Kajiwara, Osawa has been driven to insanity. Minorikawa is good, but what the hell happened here? What happened to Achi? Alright, I think we played long enough, Achi said at last. Think we should be on our way? He was about to go to his feet when he heard voices outside the storeroom again. Yikes, that was pretty careless of us. Yeah, we definitely gotta watch it. The theater guys from earlier had returned and they sounded a bit panicked. Heard folks have been messing with the storeroom a bunch recently. Yeah. And did you hear who's behind it? Some juvenile delinquents. Like a gang? Well, that takes me way back. Alright, let's hurry on back. Achi rushed over to the door. He tried turning the knob, but the door wouldn't budge. Oh, come on, are you freaking kidding me? He paced frantically around the room, pulling out his hair. We're locked in! Oh, we can't email Tanaka. That's what we can't do now. And that door was the only way in or out. Achi and Tomi were well and truly trapped inside the storeroom. This is all my fault, Achi said. It was my idea to hide out here in the first place. He bowed to Hitomi repeatedly. We're never going to be able to find that blue minivan now. Guess we'll have to get somebody on the outside to help us, Hitomi replied. She scowled thoughtfully. They powered their phones back on in order to call for help. The big question was who they could possibly ask. Hitomi, anyone you could reach out to? Mr. Tanaka, I suppose. Tanaka, right. The suggestion didn't exactly thrill Achi. He had no idea what this Tanaka guy was like. Hopefully he was the dependable sort who would actually show up to rescue them. But somehow that thought made Achi feel even worse. Achi had someone he figured he could call, but he hesitated, uncertain. There had been a time where he'd trusted the guy more than anyone. They bailed each other out of countless jams. Nowadays, though, things are different. Hitomi gave Achi a puzzled look as he sat, lost in thought. Right, I guess I don't have much of a choice. Achi scrolled through the contacts list on his cell phone. He found a name he thought he'd never call again. Susumu. Interesting. Yo. Achi, is that you? Susumu's voice was low and guarded. Look, I've got a favor to ask you. I'm in a real bind here. Huh? Like, things are ridiculously bad. I thought maybe you could help me out a little bit. You seriously thought I'd help you? Susumu's words were like ice. You messing with me or something, man? Now he sounded like touch angry as well. Painful memories flashed before Achi's eyes. Right, then. Sorry to bug you, just forget it. But Susumu hung up before Achi was even finished talking. Shoot. No dice, Achi said to Hitomi with a lopsided frown. She looked back at him, her expression a mirror of his own. What should we do? What should we do? I guess we're back to Mr. Tanaka. Guess so. You want to go ahead then? I'm doing all the wrong voices, I'm sorry. Well, it's not going to work because Tanaka is helping dealing with Osawa, who's lost his mind. Hitomi tried calling him repeatedly, but Tanaka didn't pick up. What could have happened? She muttered under her breath. Do you think that maybe the kidnappers found out that Mr. Tanaka and I have been in contact? Achi shrugged. It looked like they were just going to need to find some way out of here on their own, and then maybe look for the minivan themselves. Achi strode over to the door and grabbed hold of the knob. He tried giving it a good, sturdy pull. Ugh, no good. The thing won't even budge. That door opens outward. Wait, really? Achi tried giving it a push. It still didn't open. He kicked it. Oh-ho! The door wasn't nearly as sturdy as Achi had expected. I think I can make this work. He backed up to get a running start, then kicked the door with all of his might. Hi-ya! The door went flying off its hinges. Oh man, that was way too easy. Achi stepped cautiously out of the storeroom and quickly scanned the surrounding area. There was nobody in sight. Looks like we're in the clear, he called. But Hitomi didn't come out, nor did she reply. Hitomi? She had her phone in hand, apparently still trying to get in touch with Tanaka. With a tiny sigh, Achi leaned against the wall and waited for her to finish. Well, doesn't look like I'm going to have any luck, she said. You know we can leave now, right? Are you still holding out for hope for your Mr. Tanaka? It's not that, I'm just a little worried. Oh yeah? Okie dokie then. I'll just wait around out here. Okay, I'll be right with you. Uh-huh. Achi shuffled his way back outside. No, he's down. Oh crap. By the time Achi could finish processing the thought, he was already laid out on the ground. His jaw hit the asphalt hard, he bit the tip of his tongue clean off. The taste of blood filled his mouth. A moment later, he took a sharp blow to the head. He was done for. All the energy drained from his body. His mind whirled. His vision grew hazy. He began to drift from consciousness. Back when he'd run with Susumu and the others, he never left himself exposed to a surprise attack. There were plenty of times where he'd taken a punch that sent him reeling, only to spin away and come back swinging. This time, he hadn't even seen it coming. It was his last mistake. Heh, guess I let myself go soft. Achi grimaced inwardly, muttering in a voice no one but he could hear. Hitomi, I'm so sorry. Well, Achi died. Hitomi's dead. Bad ending. Attacked by the man with the cane. Achi successfully managed to break out of the storeroom, only to be knocked out by the man with the cane while he was waiting for Hitomi. Things might have gone differently if Hitomi had managed to get into contact with Tanaka. Why hadn't he responded to her calls? Maybe something strange had happened at the Osawa residence, or perhaps there was some reason he wasn't able to answer the phone. Sweet. Alright, so another thing that we need to do. Let's check why were they in the van real quick. Go from there. There had been a bunch of foreigners inside, which meant the kidnappers didn't have any intention of giving her sister back. The more Achi thought about it, the less sense it made for them to send Hitomi to get her. There had been some other reason that they wanted Hitomi to go to that minivan, but what? Do you think they were trying to kidnap me too? And that should be it. To the bad end, hooray, cool. The man outside the window. Let's see if we can do this one. Achi turned to Hitomi. Let's hurry out through the door. Right now, they were little more than trapped rats. But Hitomi clutched onto Achi's arm hard. Can I help you with something? Said the man. Okay, so that doesn't do anything either. Okay, so now we have to switch this. So that way Kajiwara does not answer the phone. Or we don't call Kajiwara. So we need to talk to Sasayama. Okay, so now we should be back to, yeah, Canon. Okay, so we've already done all of these options. Email from Tanaka, totally not jealous. Let's kind of get through all of these real quick. short while later, Tommy's phone, jump in the reply. Achi did his utmost to pretend he didn't notice. Mr. Tanaka says he's going to look for the minivan for us. Okay. Huh? He says he wants us to hide out here a little longer. What? No, if he just comes out and lets us out, I can look for the van myself. He said if someone's after me, it's safer to say where we are. Yeah, I'm out of the running, Achi thought to himself. Hey, Lily, how's it going? This Tanaka was clearly pretty concerned for her. We should be able to move on, right? Yeah, cool. How does he find us? Enter the assassin. Volunteering right now? No worries, no worries. So you can see the man with the cane. So this is going to be another just fake option. No, they need to wait for a safer chance to escape. And then the phone vibrates. So Achi heard the sound of a cell phone vibrating from behind a tall piece of plywood leaning by the door. The assassin stepped out from behind it. He still hadn't spotted his quarry. I'm sure this is the place. Cool. Alright. So that's that one done. Street fight out on the main road. We already did that. An atmosphere of tension. Incomprehensible actions. Sure, those actions didn't make a lot of sense. Hey, you seem more interested in taking out the man with the cane than going after you. Maybe there's bad blood between them. Maybe there's bad blood between them. Achi let out a little chuckle. If we're lucky, maybe they'll take each other out for us. He felt a rush of relief, reassured that Hitomi didn't doubt his motives. Regardless, though, we have to track down that blue van. The sound of a child's cry came from behind them. And face-planted little girl. Turning to look, they saw the kidnapper rushing toward them. He had knocked over a little girl who was in his way. No rest for the weary, Achi sighed. Yet again, he and Hitomi sprinted away. Do you think he took out the guy with the cane? Alright, cool. So that's all of that. We can't do that one. We acted so by challenge. So we did a street fight. So what other choices do we have for Tama? I address my opponent, and by challenge I naturally mean rock, paper, scissors. Let's do rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors? The girl goes slack-jawed in surprise. Yeah, and if I win, you have to let me have those diet drinks. Rock, paper, scissors. Sure, whatever. Okay, accept. Here we go. I ready my fist. 1, 2, 3, shoot! You lost. I've lost. We're doing best out of 3, right? What? 1, 2, 3, shoot! I lose again. And I even tried to change up by throwing paper twice in a row. So yeah, we're doing first to 3, right? Ah! 1, 2, 3, shoot! Yet again, I lose. My reverse psychology had backfired. Okay, now that we're done warming up, want to do this for real? Sure? Shoot! 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 Who uses paper 6 times? Shoot, shoot, shoot. Shoot, shoot. Why do you guys only use... What? Why? Why do you guys only use paper and scissors? Tama is the worst. This goes on for a good 30 minutes. We've thrown more times than I can even count, and I haven't won once. Reverse psychology. Reverse psychology. Even reverse psychology. She sees through me every time. I'm terrible at this. Beyond terrible. How can someone be this bad at rock, paper, scissors? I want to keep going until I win at least once, but the girl is clearly pretty fed up. This sucks, but I've reached my limit. Time's up. Right around now, there's someone else who's been told that his time is up, and he's in quite a predicament. Yes, it's Junichi Yamashita. The ruthless ultimatum was issued by none other than Minoru Norikawa. Is that Minoru Norikawa? Oh my gosh, what the hell? Why is this a keep out? Oh, because, yeah. Well, thanks for hearing me for so long. Guess those drinks are all yours. I shuffle off, my shoulders slumped in dismay. On shaky legs, I make my way back to the Nokane building. I'm half tempted to just abandon the whole burning hammer disaster, but I know I'd feel guilty afterwards. Besides, after all the effort I put into this, I'd at least like to get paid for something. I'm back! I call out casually as I open the door. When I see what's inside, I feel like I've been smacked in the head with a mallet. The demo room is completely totaled. Torn flowers are scattered all around, and most of the chairs have been knocked over. Someone obviously trashed the place. Who the heck did this? I thought I was alone, but then I spot someone lying in the corner. Is Midori Kama just dead? It's some guy I don't recognize. The man grows pitifully. What's going on, I ask. What happened here? I go over to the guy and shake him gently by one shoulder. Has death come for me at last, then? His voice is a mere murmur. If you're here to finish me off, you're welcome to try. But only if you beat me in a challenge, fair and square. Huh? I'm not sure what he's on about, but my competitive streak is too strong to let me ignore what I just heard. A challenge, you say? That's right. I challenge you. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors? Rock, paper, scissors. Again. If you beat me, then I'm yours to do with as you please. All the vexation I felt earlier when I lost to the girl in the knick-knack shop stirs within me again. I feel like a kettle boiling over. At this point, I don't even care who my opponent is. I need to slay the nagging disappointment inside me. Alright then, I accept your challenge. I hold out my fist. Here we go. 1, 2, 3! You're gonna use paper again, aren't you? Shoot! Paper. I throw paper. And the man throws scissors. I've lost. I guess I really am just no good at rock, paper, scissors. Maybe I should say I'm really no good at losing at it. I had thought my earlier loss must have been some weird fluke, but apparently it wasn't after all. He lost to dying Minorikawa. That's awesome. Rochambeau. Thanks to her epic rock, paper, scissors losing streak, Tama wasn't able to get any burning hammer. Maybe that was to be expected, seeing as she only ever throws paper. She'd probably do better with some other form of challenge. It's a game of luck, Tama. True, but at the same time. So question. What happens if we jump to Minorikawa? What happens? Please fight up. This sucks, but I've reached my limit. Time's up. So what happens if we jump to Minorikawa? Does it open? Okay. So it opens. What happens? Time's up! Minorikawa had enough. You gather up customers for a product that doesn't even exist and try to sell them something else? It's a classic con. You've got it all wrong. I am selling burning hammer, I swear. Liar! I bet you're even planning on trying to hustle the props for those little magic tricks. What? No, I'm not. You've got to believe me. Oh yeah? Minorikawa sneered. Then just where is this burning hammer of yours, huh? Oops. Go on, tell me. He grabbed Nanakashita by the collar. Hey, no, easy there, sir. Tell me. Please just let me go. I said tell me. What up, Gem? How's it going? I'm a pacifist, Yanagashita cried. You're a what now? Minorikawa scowled. A pacifist. I demand 3 million yen in reparations. Yanagashita shook free of Minorikawa's grasp and shoved a hand in his face for a charge. Reparations? Minorikawa faltered, baffled by this unexpected counterattack. Yeah, pay up, Yanagashita demanded. 3 million yen in reparations. He seemed to have forgotten his customers entirely in his fury. Don't be absurd. No, I know you're a journalist, muckracker. Only a journalist would stoop so low. Hey, everyone, look here. This man just assaulted me. Huh? What? Hold on, I was just... Right here, folks. Now everyone can bear witness to the true face of the media. It's people like this guy who go around besmirching fine, upstanding citizens with trumped-up hogwash. Hey, wait just a minute here. You're the one who's trying to sell a product that doesn't even exist. Ah, my God! Yanagashita broke into a sudden fit of wailing. Minorikawa turned to look back at the approaching crowd. Its members glared at him with accusation. Ladies, Yanagashita begged, his voice interspersed with sobs. I'm so sorry. I had this amazing diet aid that I was planning to offer to you all at a reasonable price, but it turns out I won't be able to sell it after all. This man is going to write a piece about how my product is bogus. My company's reputation is going to take a huge hit, and because of that, I won't even have a product to sell you. It's all going to be his fault. As he choked out his words, Yanagashita dropped to his knees in defeat. That's when the riot started. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Minorikawa wasn't sure exactly when he blacked out. When he came to, he was sprawled out onto the floor. Craning his neck to look around, he saw no sign of Yanagashita or his customers, only tattered flyers and busted chairs strewn about the room. There was a ringing in his ear, the back of his head throbbing painfully. His arms felt too heavy to lift. It was like his entire body had been transformed into a lump of cement. Finally, he remembered. After Yanagishita's little act, the crowd had descended on Minorikawa from all sides in frenzied free-for-all. That old woman looks so upset.
I'm gonna chop you in the throat, bitch! Ka-cha!
The other women, they look so giddy. Minorikawa's like, huh?
I'm screwed!
Against an angry mob that size, he hadn't stood a chance. They had worked him over until he was black and blue. In the midst of the fracas, while the customers were distracted, he caught sight of Yanagishita sneaking out of the room. Clearly, the man was no stranger to worming his way out of sticky predicaments. Oh, there's Tama! Now, as he tried to piece together what had happened next, a mysterious figure loomed into his blurry vision. It sported pointed ears atop its enormous head, along with a big, broad mouth. Whatever it wasn't human. Has death come for me at last, then? A smile of delight crossed Death's face. No doubt he had indeed come to eject Minorikawa from this mortal coil.
If you're here to finish me off, then you're welcome to try, Minorikawa growled. But only if you beat me in a challenge, fair and square.
Minorikawa had never been one to give down easily. Even now, he refused to go down without a fight. A challenge, you say? Asked Death. Still, the bright grin on his face remained.
That's right. I challenge you.
That was all well and good, but Minorikawa's strength was gone. At best, he was only able to move one hand.
Rock, paper, scissors,
Minorikawa said. In his current state, that was all he was capable of. Nonetheless, it counted as a challenge.
If you beat me, he went on, then I am yours to deal with as you please.
For a while, Death was silent, then he nodded deeply. All right, then. Accept your challenge. And so Minorikawa and Death held out their hands. Scissors. Minorikawa tried to throw a rock, but with several of his fingers broken, he couldn't quite curl them into a proper fist. Death, on the other hand, threw paper. He tried to do rock. Oh, he tried to do rock, so he thinks he lost. Oh no, he thought he lost. I've lost. All at once, Minorikawa's last remaining energy drained from his body. Oh no! He won! The rampage. A simple complaint about the demo's delayed start turned into an argument with Mr. Yanagishita, and ultimately into an all-out melee. If only there'd been some burning hammer around, this might have never happened. There must be something Tama could do about all this. The smart money's on her. And that's it, Bad Times 1300 block. We've gotten every single bad ending. So, let us check out all of the remaining options. There's still some options that we need. Hold on. Tama. So Tama, we need to choose a different challenge. With Death, true. So yeah, we got all of them. Cool. Just my opponent. We're gonna do, let's play a rhyming game. Let's play a rhyming game. Huh? The girl says. She seems a bit put off by the suggestion. Yeah, I say. And if I win, you have to let me have all of these. A rhyming game, really? Okay then, really. Silly. Okay then, glisten. Listen, I'm a martial artist. Artist? Oh, that's a tough one. Smartest. Glow. No, what I'm saying is I'm a fighter. Okay, fighter. Shouldn't be too hard. I can do this. Just have to not panic. Let's see. Writer, okay. Scissors. What do you mean scissors? No! Wait, what the heck is going on? Crap, nothing rhymes with scissors. That's an illegal move. I drop into a fighting stance. Okay then. Shall we fight? The girl grins back at me. Now you're talking. The name's Miku, by the way. Well, now we're gonna fight. I'm the game or just for that hour? What do you mean I'm the game? I'm confused. Challenge accepted. Now we're gonna do the street fighting. Miku matched. Alright. So that's it for this block. Well, we're pretty much done with, I'm just kind of going through everything. Not I'm in. Gotcha. Well, right now we're just going to go through all the options that we missed, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, eye is bright with rage. None of these options should really matter, but it gives us different dialogue, so please let me apologize. Asking for forgiveness seems to be my only option. So we'll do that one. Please let me apologize. Asking for forgiveness seems to be my only option, but the crowd is still up in arms, clamoring for blood. Tama! Yanagishita shouts, rushing out of the break room. What the heck did you say? Guess he can't just sit idly by and watch this any longer. Abort, abort, he howls. Cool. So I'll go over what we're doing with 428s in a little bit. Haha, kidding, kidding. That was just a joke. I just gotta play this off smooth. Haha, kidding, that was just a joke. I've just gotta play this off smooth. I mean, seriously, there's no way you'd find something this high quality in a 100 yen shop. Sweat is streaming down my brow. Really now, says one woman in the crowd. How about we find out? She takes out her cell phone. I know someone who runs one of those stores. Wait, let's not be hasty now. Why? What's wrong? Oh, it's just... You don't need to go out of your way like that. You said you were joking, didn't you? So it shouldn't matter if my Scott made the call, right? Well... Ahem. Ahem. Cough, 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 cough. I step into a nervous coughing fit. I'm absolutely sweating bullets inside my catsuit now. Tama! Shouts Mr. Yana shit. Yeah. Break room. What the heck are you doing? Abort, he yells. If you let these people know the truth about this stuff, they'll never buy it. And yeah, we're good. Job's over, so we're already set there. How does he find us? More from Tanaka. Kidnapper's goals. Someone's outside. Street fight. Sphere. Call. I'm just once again making sure that we're doing all the options before we end off this stream and talk about what we've learned today. We got more to go. Oh, by the way, what do you got to say? Interview begins. It's a knick-knack shop. Alright, so now it's just all Osawa's choices, I believe. You decided to tell the truth? Alright, I'll tell you, just leave me be in peace. He decided to tell the truth.
Alright, I'll tell you. Just leave me in peace. One of my colleagues is waiting for me outside.
Who is it?
I'm sorry, that's all I can say.
Could you tell me a bit about what you'll be discussing? Hey, Sean, how's it going? Welcome. Kajiwara leaned in even closer. His eyes twinkled with suspicion.
I can't share corporate secrets, Detective. Like how you don't tell me anything about the state of your investigation. It goes both ways.
It might have been childish reasoning, but it worked on Kajiwara. All right, the detective said. In that case, I have just one condition. Please take this with you. The listening device. Bug tracker. He produced something that looked like a small transceiver from inside his coat. What's this? It's a bug tracker, sir. It'll beep in response to any nearby listening device.
I'm just going to meet someone from work. Don't need this.
He pushed Kajiwara's hand aside and the bug tracker fell on the floor. Mr. Osawa, you mustn't underestimate the lengths to which these kidnappers will... Yeah. Do. Need to keep this a secret. It doesn't concern you.
It doesn't concern you.
Alright, the detective said. In that case, I just have one condition. Please take this with you. He produced something that looked like a small transceiver from inside his coat.
What's this?
It's a bug tracker, sir. It'll beep in response to any nearby listening devices.
I don't need this.
He pushed Kajiwara's hand. Yeah. Alright. Pressure. Say no to us. To the U.S. He jittered his jaw toward the front and the back seat of the console. Alright, Osawa said he had no choice but to fall in line.
Alright, Osawa said
he had no choice but to fall in line. It would be around 10 p.m. local time for the American firm. He decided to call his contact's personal phone. The headhunter was shocked to hear that Osawa wanted to decline the position. Yep. Yeah, some of these are pretty simple stuff, so something worse. Something worse? Had something happened to Maria? He needed to hear the detective out. Had something happened to Maria? He needed to hear the detective out.
What is it? Osawa asked. Go on, tell me.
He did his best to remain composed. Well, you see, we ordered lunches for everyone and it looked like there were 2 still left over, so I wound up eating them. There was an awkward pause. Osawa didn't have the foggiest idea of how to respond. My deepest apologies, sir. I ate the lunches intended for you and your wife. Kajiwara bowed profusely, and I really do need to apologize. There were tonkatsu bento boxes, and they were delicious. The meat was so tender, and the batter so crisp. With each and every bite, the rich flavor just filled my mouth more and more. Osawa felt a bloodbuster burst in his skull.
Listen, you. Get your goddamn act together, or...
He didn't get to finish that thought. A pathetic little gurgle sounded from his stomach. Really? Ah, see? Kajiwara said. You are hungry. He fussed sheepishly with his hair. All the talk of food, Osawa realized abruptly that he hadn't eaten anything since the night before. Shall I make something for you? The detective asked. This is all my fault, after all.
You can cook?
Osawa wasn't sure how thrilled he was with the idea of Kajiwara. Seriously? Why is this not done? Helping him. You mustn't judge people based on outward appearances, Mr. Osawa.
Alright, fine. Go right ahead, then.
His newfound hunger was making it hard for him to think. It would certainly behoove him to eat something. He led Kajiwara to the kitchen, with Penis Boy on his shirt.
What's with that getup?
And cool. Alright, that's all the choices. Okay, cool. That should be every single choice for the 1300 blocks. Now we're on 1400. We still have 4 hours to go, I believe. Let me just check the notes here. 16. Yep. So we have 14, 15, 16, and 1700 blocks. So we have 4 hours to go, and then we are done. But now we know who Tama is. We now know that Tama is Maria. Let's just go over everything that's happened in this stream before we wrap things up. And I'm going to get some food, and then we'll go into the next stream, and so on and so forth. We'll start with the biggest one last, okay? So, we now know the existence of a person named Kano who seems to be some sort of assassin of some kind. Because we know that in Kano's ending, bad ending, and even this ending, that Kano killed every person connected to the attaché case. Meanwhile, this Kano right here, Kano pretty much, like, knocked out the guy that was hunting Itomi and Achi. Because of that, I think Kanon's a good guy for Achi and Itomi, but not a good guy for Kano. But we'll see what goes on there. Minorikawa has a broken laptop, and he really needs to figure out how to fix that fast. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to get the article out in time. So that's kind of his just there. Osawa found out that Tanaka is now carrying a listening device, which makes sense on how Tateno, who I believe is the guy with the cane, is chasing after Achi and Hitomi and able to find them easily. So Tanaka might be a bad guy. We don't know. But that's definitely scary. And then Tama is Maria, the person who's been missing since the start of this game. We have been playing as her the entire time. I was not expecting this. Honestly, usually I'm pretty genre savvy and can figure out some twists as they come along. Maria was the last person that I would think of to be in the Tama outfit. Maria is the literal last person. So, I didn't mean to see that. But if we go back to... Here, I'm going to head back to the title screen real quick. Because now it shows that that this has changed. Because now instead of Tama, we have Maria. Now, I do want to be upfront about a few things. I was looking into this game to figure out, like, how this all, like, progresses. And, because I talked about last stream how I thought it was pretty cool that, like, you know, when two characters interact, you know, you get to learn things as time goes on. You get to learn that if two characters interact, that it gets a bad ending. And then you learn that each other person's, like, options can affect each other. And then you get to the fact of that when you jump to people's timelines, sometimes it doesn't do anything, to the 1300 hour where now everyone's at least knows of each other's existence. And I think now in the 1400 block, we're going to start getting introduced to... Here's my prediction here. In the 1400 hour block, we are going to be introduced to the characters finally, like, meeting each other, essentially. Because keep in mind, none of these five know of each other's existence at this time. The only ones who at least have seen each other is Tama and Minorikawa. But keep in mind, Tama, who's now Maria, is no longer in the suit. So it's definitely interesting, that's for sure. But we are going to wrap things up here. Oh, one more thing I do want to mention when it comes to this game moving forward. So, what I am thinking, here's what I'm planning, because this game is honestly a ton of fun. I really do enjoy this game, but it's definitely going longer than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be really quick and really seamless, but we still have quite a lot still to go. So, every weekend we will be doing 1 full hour of the only versions are Osawa, Achi, and Maria. well, I think everyone's going to be interacting with each other. But currently, only Maria and... Oh, between like 1400 block? Maybe, I'm not sure. So, when it comes to 428 Shibuya Scramble, I'm going to be trying to complete the entirety of the 1400 hour on Sunday, tomorrow. If it goes longer than I think it does, I'm going to try to keep it to about 3 hours. If it goes longer, then we're just going to keep it split. But I'm going to try to barrel through this. I still want to, of course, you know, enjoy the game and everything as time goes on. But I definitely, we have games that are coming up that we need to get to. This stream actually ran a lot longer than I thought it was going to, because that's why I delayed it till 12:30 today, Mountain Standard Time, because I only thought we had an hour and a half left. I was not expecting it to be 2.5 hours. So this game definitely is long, but we should be able to get through it. I think that next stream we'll see how it all plays out. We should be able to get through the 1400 hour in just one stream, but I'm not entirely sure. Since the stream just ended right now, is ending right now, we are going to be delaying Skullgirls until 4 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, or 5. It's going to be around there. I still have to make thumbnail and get that all taken care of. So it's going to be a little bit delayed, so not too much. I need to get some lunch in my system because I am hungry. Haven't eaten at all today. And then the last stream tonight, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to be doing My Time at Porsche tonight, because there are games that I want to I wanted to edit first and foremost, but also secondly, there are games that I need to finish their events today, and I'm definitely behind, so I need to get up on that. Anyway, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed 428 Shibuya Scramble. This game is a fucking trip. I'm excited. But have a wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, and or evening. My name's Katathi, and I hope to see you guys next time for more Variety Gaming. See you guys later. Peace. Bye, everyone.